Talk, baby. This is the show where it's okay to be you. We're talking from Yale to jail and from the church house to the pimp house. Nothing's excluded on Shop Talk. So if you don't have a phone, I suggest you borrow one. Call in and voice your opinion live every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Yeah, that's right, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Don't forget to Shop Talk with your girl, because right here, we keeps it real.
A fly girl.
That ending, I had to do that, man. Listen, that was like my jam back in the day. He can't stand fluorescent socks. I was rocking with the fluorescent socks. I had the Kango. I had it all. Man, listen. Yeah. And then if you was slick, like I remember it was the Downtown Vogue, they had the furry Kangos and they was on sale.
Oh, yeah.
That was on sale, so you rocked the Kangos in the summer. You were hot.
The hot furry ones.
The hot furry ones with a Jerry girl hanging down talking about who colder, me or Curtis Blow.
Try that mess now.
Right. You be like, you hot, your hair skinny. Oh, yeah, it look like the Zika virus. Like, what's going on?
It's too cool to be hot.
We're too cool to be hot. Zika before was the Zika virus. We're like, what happened? They head little. That's because they got that hot hat on. What's up? Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Shop Talk with Mel. I'm your girl, Mel. Around the table, we have Roogle. What's happening?
Hey, nothing much, man. Just hanging out.
Aha, Kim Ham, the go-to girl. What's up?
Happy Saturday, podcast world.
All right. And none other, the voice of the community, Nick in the building. What's up, Nicole?
Good morning, everyone.
We can't get her out of the character. Listen, the 27. With this Sister Betty, honey. Sister Betty, she got that old soul and she gonna keep it 100 for you lovely people who don't know. There is coffee in there. Podcast world, go ahead and get yourself some coffee or some tea.
That's what the world needs to know.
The world needs to know is coffee. Kim Ham, the go-to girl. Kim Hamilton, the go-to girl, right? Because I keep shutting. Kim Ham, okay. I'm like, I keep cutting it off because of ham. What you got in your cup?
Cappuccino French vanilla.
Hey. Y'all know she is an avid Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to let this pass because it's a flag on that cup.
Cowboys.
But all I see is the stars. Right.
Okay.
I just see the stars. Every time I see Kim, it's like the stars. Here we go. She is destined to be a star. Listen, I have been so exhausted this week before we get into these hot topics. This ain't no joke. Kim Ham know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I was like, what did I sign up for? I be tired. And I don't be doing nothing but reading.
Learning is exhausting.
Learning is exhausting.
It is.
It messes with your sleep cycle. You're studying in your sleep.
Now that's the truth. You ever dream that you be at work?
Oh man, I used to hear IVs. Mm-hmm. Like in my sleep, I would be chasing IVs. You know how the machine dings?
Right.
I would hear that in my sleep. Yes.
Have you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I dream about work all the time.
Especially on my last job.
Oh man, that means you're overworked.
You're stressed. Like what I do now as a coach, I don't dream about coaching, but I dream about nursing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Because nursing was so demanding. It was so taxing. And when you have a job where everything that you do matters to someone else's life, you wake up in the middle of the night. Did I change that IV? Did I sign out that drug? Did I do this? I mean, you're still working like hours after you get home.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what I did. So my back was bothering me, right? So I go to the hospital. I really didn't want to go, but I had to go. I was like, I need a shot. Like, this is bad. And I don't even have, like, back issues, but my back, like, when I was crazy, I think it's stress. Because usually, like, if I'm stressed, that's when it happened. It happened years ago. I said, I'm stressing. Don't even know I'm stressing. Long story short, I had just got off work. I dozed off. I hear them say my name. I said, listen, guess what the first words that came out? She laughed so hard. I heard her say Melanie. Melanie, real calm. Melanie. I said, I'm fired. I thought I fell asleep on the job.
But you was at home sleep.
I was in the hospital.
Oh.
I was up there waiting. I had dozed off waiting. So I see her. I didn't even know the woman. I didn't even realize who she was. I just seen the scrubs. I looked up. I was like, well, I'm fired. Listen, she laughed so hard. She was like, and you said it so calmly. She said, and I heard her saying my name really calm. So she said she called me several times. She said, and you just said it was like, well, I'm fired. I said, I need to stop. Yeah. That's what I was like, I'm doing too much. I was like, how you do that? I thought I was up here. I was like, oh, then I looked around and realized that she was like, you are disoriented. I was like, clearly. And I was in a chair. I wasn't like laying on the cot.
But
I was
you were out.
I was out.
You are it's exhausting. It is exhausting. I was living out of a laundry basket. Either it was full of clean clothes, full of dirty clothes. I didn't have time to do nothing.
That's it.
Yep.
Because my bed is full of folded clothes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna put them away. All right. So let's get with these hot topics. I already know how Roogle feel. I know how most of y'all feel, but I got to talk about the R. Why do they have R. Kelly?
Oh, no.
The R. Kelly. Again, back again with 20 more counts. And they focusing on him. I haven't heard about Harvey. I haven't heard about, why do they...
You know, me and my son have a conversation about, and he refuses to play her music anymore, is Cardi B.
Mm-hmm. You talked about that.
Oh, after she confessed?
Mm-hmm.
She confessed!
And nothing's happening.
Nothing. And
Right, exactly. I don't agree with that. I'm glad they're finally getting R. Kelly. Because, I mean, all these women, like I said, trying to throw themselves at you and you focusing on young girls. But what about our president? What about, get these folks too. You trying to get him, get the rest of them. Look what they did to Bill.
listen, he do.
And he allegedly.
But see, look, I mean, it's in your face. The people that are being seen and the ones that aren't being seen. And they talk about, I'm like, Michael, is it black or white? I mean,
Exactly.
and I am not that person. You know how they always try to say, and I say they loosely, how they always say it's racially motivated, even before 45 got into office. So, you know, y'all might disagree with me. I am happy that he's there. You know why I'm happy that he's there? Because it's exposed. Everything that we have known forever. And then I got to, you know, look at me. I got a few white friends. You know, they be like, I got a black friend. I got a few white friends. And I used to say that all the time. I say, here's the thing. I said, I'm a female. I said, so it's not really affecting me as much. However, in management, I had to work harder. I had to work harder to prove myself because they would ask me a ton of questions. And then I needed to make sure that I knew the answers. So I would study hard. And then, and this is a department head meeting, but this clown over here that didn't know nothing, they wouldn't ask the white girl or the white lady. But it was like my face, and honestly, and this is the way that I felt. And I told her, and I told D, I know you're listening. That's my white friend. My only white friend. No, I got a few. And I told D, I said, here's the deal. When I walk out of the door, and we both have the same last name, Ross. I said, when I walk out the door, I don't just represent my family. I represent my entire race. I represent all women. I said, and I represent women in leadership. I said, so it is a lot. I said, when you walk out your door, she was like, I'm just representing my daughter, my husband. They don't have the same.
Understand. And we have that conversation all the time because, cliche, one of my best friends is white.
One of my best friends is white.
Hey, Tula. But we have this conversation all the time because, you know, Caucasians come from different ethnic backgrounds. But like I tried to tell her, people don't know your ethnic background. They see a white woman. When I walk in, you don't have to figure out what I am. I walk in the door identified. And therefore, I have to prove myself the moment I step in.
And judged.
The moment I step in. You can walk around all day and be a white woman. But they don't know that she's Greek and she's proud of her Greek heritage. I said, but they don't know that. They see me. It happened in my profession. My nurse aide was white, and I was a home care nurse. So when we would go into a patient's home, they would automatically give all the nursing information to her and the nurse aide information to me. And in the beginning, she would stop them and then, tell them she's the nurse. After a while, she understood what it was like to be a black person.
She was able to see.
And she would sit there and let them go through the whole spiel of what was going on. And then she'd say, now you have to tell that to the nurse. Because she started to see what life was like for me as a black person.
Without you having to say, y'all don't understand.
Leadership and a black, she was able to see it. So, yeah, you get to the point where we talk about, and last week was a good conversation because we talked about the 4th of July, Independence Day in America as a whole country. But it really is it. And that's where we start to get all these discrepancies and what makes America great And for some people, again, we're still trying to get great the first time.
Okay, that's why we ain't for the again. How about his slogan should have just been "Make America Great"? Maybe somebody would have bought a hat.
And don't get me wrong, I am proud to live in a country where I can worship freely and speak freely, but it is still a fight for my people to be able to do that. And I think that that's where sometimes the message gets lost.
Well, now we almost can't speak freely.
Yeah,
You see that? They're trying to take that.
So
I want to know from the male's perspective, because see, we're females. From a male's perspective, what have you encountered?
As far as like that racism?
Yes.
I had the exact same situation. I was a coordinator of a program for a Tri-County program. And it was a lady who was with me who was like assisting. Like I was the person over the program. So we would go and meet with other people. And they would, like, I was the only black. Well, it was like 2 or 3.
Okay.
But hold on. I was the only black person that was. It was okay. Let me put it like this. It was only one hire, and that was me. And everybody I represented was institutions, healthcare facilities, that sort of thing. And we went to go talk to. I forgot who it was, but it was a white lady who we met with, and she's giving all the information to the other person, but the other person is waiting on me to answer. You know what I mean? Because it was just like she knew who I was, you know what I mean, but she didn't want to interact with me on that level.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, it happens. It definitely happens. I mean, I've seen it even politically. It's an issue. You know what I mean? As far as like what happens with certain positions that you hold, and they say, well, you're not as educated as the other people, or you're not. This was one that hit me. They told me I was too young, and I was 37, and people who had the position
you get discriminated against
was like
for that.
21, but they was white. You know what I mean?
Ah.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But I was too young at 37.
Interesting. They didn't have a clue.
But they didn't say that the white counterparts were too young at 22, 21.
And they
There
knew?
was a couple of them. Yeah, they knew.
I don't know. Some of them be looking age. Some of them be looking old.
No, because like when you this was the paper. So when you apply, whenever you file for something, they ask you like to give like a description of who you are.
Okay.
You know, so they know.
Interesting.
You know.
It is what it is, huh? That's the term.
It's what they made it, and so the issue is like
I like that coming back.
If I can only see the issue of this being the discrimination of this issue, it's because you made it that way. And now when I point it out, it's now it's bad on me because I said, well, why y'all treating me different when I'm like the only common denominator was they're white and I'm black.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? It wasn't an education issue. It wasn't nothing. They were white. I was black.
Speaking of an educational moment, your spot.
Okay.
What do you say? Your little. You be like that was a teachable moment.
Yeah, a teachable moment.
I had a teachable moment. Now I'm down in East Liverpool, and a lot of people, if you know what East Liverpool is, it's predominantly white. Mm-hmm. So I'm there, and I go in to assist the patient, and the patient, granted, 90s. And she looked at me, which was cool. And I had another person, a younger black girl that was there. And she said, "Oh, you're the help." As Kim almost, Nick all distracted. She's like, "Wait a minute." Kim almost spit out her little cappuccino. She said, "Oh, you're the help." Now, here's what's interesting. I always make a joke about that working, at the county jail because I was like, and I was the help down there because I wasn't fully on full staff, full time. I come PRE, and if y'all need me, I'm there, the help. And then they were like, "Ross, why you keep saying you the help?" I was like, "Y'all got me coming through the back door and everything, So that's what I would say down there. So then when this lady said it, the younger girl was losing it. And I had to we stepped out, and it was so funny because when the lady said it, she said it so pleasant, and it wasn't in a mean, derogatory way. But now you have to look at, she's 90 years old.
Culture, yep.
And she said, "Oh, you're the help." I said, "Well, I guess you could say that. I'm here to help you and get your vital signs and all that other stuff." And then the other lady said, "Honey, can you hand me my glasses?" So I looked at the lady who said I was the help. I said, "Would you mind if I help her?" And she was like, "No, go right ahead." So, but what I had to do at that teachable moment, because the other young girl was upset. She's probably about like 25, black girl, and she stormed out. So after I did that, then I went and I had to tell her, me being my little 45-year-old self, I said, you have to take into consideration her age. And I said, she said it really nice. I said, and you're dealing with a dementia patient, okay? So she's all the way back.
So, but there are times where you have to deal with that, and they're not demented.
Oh, right,
because
right.
I took care of a blind woman one time who did not know I was black.
Okay.
And when I walked into her house, and I said, she had gone to rehab. So for those of you who don't know, usually if you go to the hospital and you have a knee replacement or a hip replacement.
I was working rehab.
Yeah, you will go into rehab before you go home. So she had to go to rehab facility, and there were a lot of black nurse aides there. So I said, so how was your stay in the rehab? Oh, I'm so glad to be home away from them black, lazy, colored N-words. She talked like this for 30 minutes. Those N-word roaches, those N-word bees, those N-word. For 35 minutes, I listened to this woman talk about black people like this.
Oh my gosh!
And finally,
hilarious.
At about 8:35, she said, honey, I can't pick up an accent on you. What's your nationality? I said, I'm a black, lazy, colored N-word.
That's funny, but listen, what I did notice, and I gotta say, what I did notice when I went there, that and I call them assistants. I have a problem with that word aid. All of the assistants, well, 90% of them, because it was one Caucasian white guy, he was lazy as all get out, were black. Out there, they were black. And I said, interesting. And I
Were you at the hospital?
I was at the hospital.
Okay.
I was at the hospital. And I'm going to let the people talk. The people want to say something over there. Look.
People got riled up when I said
but
that.
But I want to say this. When you are in a profession and they teach you about culture, I mean, even just being in society, you learn different cultures when you're around that person. I didn't get offended by that. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I did. I was like, what the lady said to me. And the reason is because that's what I always referred to myself down there at the county. But I was around a whole bunch of black people. Right. I was, around them. But when she said it, I didn't get offended by it. I was like, now that is so sweet. And when I say that she was the nicest person, she was absolutely, she ordered something and she didn't want to eat. And then you order you something too, because they'll pay for it. I was like, she was just so nice. And so I knew it wasn't out of just being rude and ignorant at all. It wasn't. And I shared that with her. And matter of fact, she was 97. I'm going to put it out there.
But you don't know the script that was going on in the back of her head. She's like, she probably need that
food and all that stuff.
Her 9 kids.
You know what though? Let me tell you. That's interesting.
Because the government doesn't give her enough.
Wait a minute. It probably could have been that way. And I didn't take it because y'all know I'm always look at the positive. Nick, I'm going to get you. I always look at the positive. But what's interesting, she did say, she did say to the other one when I walked out, because you can hear them and they talk really loud right out the door. She said, she's not a big one.
She's not a big one.
She said she's not a big one. I caught that. Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
My story is I took care of a lady, a resident of mine. She's another one. She was very sweet, but she was from the old school. At first, I got offended the first time I got called. Well, not my chocolate drop, or every time I call, oh, there goes my chocolate drop. Oh, there goes my beautiful pickaninny. And I'm like, wait a minute. Pickaninny.
Not pickaninny.
But I had to remember, I was at work. I couldn't go out like I wanted to. But then she didn't discriminate, because if she didn't like them white ones, they was every kind of hunky, everything else in the book. Now, mind you, this is another white lady. So therefore, after a while, the pickaninny, I didn't like it. But seeing that she didn't discriminate against anybody, I was like, okay, because if she liked you, you were her boo. Period. She didn't want nobody else but you. But so after I heard her cuss a couple white nurses aid out and called them all kinds of hunkies and everything else, crackers, everything would come out of her mouth. I'm like, okay, I love me some Edith.
Right.
Edith Blackmore. That was,
You can't
that
say
was
that.
my girl.
Yeah, do the hipper. Yeah. Look, I'm like, yeah,
That was
okay.
a long
Okay, well, that's
time ago.
good. That's good. I'm like, you can't say the name. But those are the things that happen now. So that's why I said with him being in office, you know, that stuff probably still would have occurred. But when you talk to people and you say, and they're like, no, racism is dead. That was a long time ago. And I know that we've all heard that before he got in office. So now that he's in office, I guess people just took the veils off. They're like, we can take the hoods off now because our boy is up in office and this is what it's going to be. And people started being more ignorant. And unfortunately, it seems as if society is embracing ignorance now.
Well, the only thing I can say is come from this is that before it was like you had to have a pristine like record. Like if you did anything wrong, like there was a reason for you not to be accepted into a public office.
Right.
Now it's like with this plethora of things that this guy's done, and he's been elected to the highest office in the world. You know, if you are in a situation where let's say you had an infraction, but you want to run for something, you could I ain't gonna say you can get away with it, but you can work yourself around it. You know, because this is a person who's in the office who has been tape saying stuff, who has said stuff, just plain out said it, and has gotten elected to this office.
And have gotten the accolades.
You know, yeah. So it's like it kind of levels the field for the common man. If you will.
The common man.
But I hate to say common man because the things he did was above average. You know what I mean? Like
yes, I would agree.
Like he was trying to get an A+++
on ignorance, and he got it.
You know, but it's the thing where like you can see like now where people can look at it and say, well, how bad is my past truly, and compared to what we have seen.
He set the standards really high. He set the standards so high that a lot of people are getting the opportunity to do things. And see, this is where we go back to the show. I think it was in 2017. And y'all like, what? 2017 show where you have, what about that person that decided to do right? Where you have people who actually did what they needed to do to get a position. But it's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to give them a second chance. And they're going to supersede the person that actually stayed on the straight and narrow. Yeah. You know, and I think that's, or I'm going to say it. I got loans out here that I got to pay back, and then somebody then fell off the wagon and did whatever it is, and then you give that person an opportunity, and you bypass me because you want to give this person a second chance, and you want to look, I don't even know, embrace what's going on, or say, okay, we believe in second chances. But what about, I ain't even had the first chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where that comes in. They were saying that by, I think it was, I'm going to look it up and get the actual statistics. I had went to a in-service, it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. And they were saying that 50% of the population by 2025 will have felons. And they will be employed, because remember there was a time where if you were a felon, they'd be like, and they will pass you over. Mm-hmm. Well, they'll consider you. Because how many people can't pass the drug test to get jobs? And that's like right now, we're in 2019. But how sad is that you telling us that America, that's the way that I took it. So you telling me that this person next to me, half of these people, 50% of this room is going to be a felon. Next to me is going to be a felon. And guess what? They'll have the same opportunity as I have. Mm-hmm. That's the way that I looked at it.
Well, I think that the bigger issue.
Go ahead, live to the audience.
Just pointing out.
Go ahead.
We need corrections for our correctional institutions.
Yeah, good answer.
And also, you want to consider that every one of us is one decision away.
Absolutely.
So it's a bad decision that you make, because you have some people that are felons that have gone through
that are genuinely felons,
right, all of their lives, and they've gotten to their 50s, 60s, 70s. And they made a bad decision somewhere that got them incarcerated. So it's not that they didn't get educated. It's not that they didn't get degrees. All of the above. But now he said something about leveling the playing field or whatever. It was something he used the word level.
I can't remember.
And what I have seen with this situation,
level up.
When the seated president was President Obama, and there
They tried
was such
to
an
crucify
uproar
that.
from what we call, okay, so you have Democrats, Republicans, there's your separation. So when there was a Democrat in office, you had all of the Republicans with the name calling and monkeys and putting watermelons and things, and so they were doing a lot of nasty things. But then when the election came around again and Democrats said, we hope that the Republicans will concede peacefully. And then when it flipped, when the script flipped, the Democrats didn't want to concede peacefully. What you see now is a lot of name calling and imagery, negative, and it's like, okay, wait, you're doing what you did not like being done.
Go ahead, Kim Hamlin,
That's
go-to girl.
exactly why he's able to do what he's doing, because if they call him out, he can call them out. Exactly what the live studio audience said. When the ball is in your court, you play it differently. When the ball is in somebody else's court and you have to go on the defense, now you want to sit here and pull out all the stops. If they start going after the president for some of the things that he said and done, the president can go back to them for things we don't know have been said or done yet. It's not that they're always conceding or agreeing with what he's doing, but he has them where they need to keep quiet too.
True. Clearly, because he's still there.
Yeah, I mean, all of this stuff that's coming out, how many more of them in power have their own story that they don't want told? They can't go after him.
Now you preaching.
Way
But of course, if they had some dirt on Obama, they wouldn't care how much dirt they had on them. They was going after him. Why?
They was trying.
Because of the color of his skin.
They were trying, and that was the most. Let me tell you something. That he was a class act president, from just the appearance and the behavior.
But he was prepped for that.
Yeah, because he was already.
He was prepped for that. He knew what he was going to have to confront, and they had already prepped
Exactly
him
my
to
point
deal
from when
with
we
it.
first started the show.
Yes.
You know what you
have to deal with.
So it's like, let me do this, and I'm pleased. I was like, that's how you represent.
But
our
I mean,
race.
but
Honestly.
our current president can say and do whatever because he's surrounded by people who can say and do whatever.
All right, let's bring this down because y'all already know this is Shop Talk up in here. Let's talk about what's happening locally. Now, y'all folks gets on my nerves. I'm getting ready to just put it out there. Y'all folks gets on my nerves because y'all talk about the Republicans and the Democrats and all that other stuff. And then you're a Democrat and then you sitting there talking about some, oh, we can't let you in because you're a Republican. Mighty funny that if you getting paid all of a sudden and you getting paid and representing a Republican, now it's all good.
Okay.
Quit playing. Oh, black on black. No, we all stick together.
Black on black.
Black on black. I ain't even gonna say black on black crime. It's black on black dime. So guess what? You gonna sit there and say, okay, well, all is well since I'm getting paid. It's okay for me. But say you, and I'm like, no, this is the team that we're on. No, Kim, you can't do that. This is the team we're on. We're not gonna let you in. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't understand. Then all of a sudden, I found out that somebody hires me and be like, hey, I need you to do this and this for me. And then you say, well, Mel, what happened? I thought you said that we had to be this way and think this way. Well, here's the thing. I'm getting paid. They hired me. What's the difference?
Because you always have to know how much you cost. When I'm coaching somebody in a situation like this, I said, please understand that you're putting a price tag on your head. Is it worth it? Is that your value point?
Okay, what's your thoughts on that? I'm telling you, this is right. Morally, this is right. We need to stick together. We need to do this. And they be like, hey, Mel, I got this and that. I'm like, okay, then, boom. We need to stick together, but I'm going to be over here. I'm getting paid still. And then you're supposed to understand me, but I don't understand your point in why you're dealing with different
money
people.
Is the factor. Is that what you're saying? Money.
Yeah, come on, man. My thing is, don't just sit there and shut somebody down because maybe they're friends with somebody else because of another reason.
We have to get to the place that we understand the best person for the job.
Yes.
We have to get away from that Republican, Democrat, all that division.
Best
person. The best person. We have to get to, and we have to stay in that vein to the best person
until you're getting paid. That's her point.
But
right.
You can't.
So
that's what it's all the root. Listen, get into the root.
Right. So now you're
dollar. You got to let dollars not govern you.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
So
now you have put a price tag on your head. So it wasn't about the issues in the first place.
Mm-mm. Right, but you saying it was. Quit playing. Now let me put this out here. I'm for Trump, so I need y'all to make sure that y'all get registered to vote and Vote, vote, vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I will never tell you who to vote for. But I need you to vote for the right person for the job.
It's the right person. Whether it's Democrat, Republican, you want the right person.
Just like what we had, Mr. Ron Shadd.
Not the black person. Or
Let's talk about when Ron Shadd was running for council person. I don't know if y'all know this, and I just feel like they just went in and just was playing games because they want to know who, I understand why some people say my vote doesn't count because of the games that's being played inside, but your vote does count, so please vote and register and know that your vote counts. So you had Ron Shadd, who was on the school board and still currently on the school board, and it's not active right now. Well, I guess they still got a point. But anyway, this is my point. You had him on there. He was running for council person. Now, if you watch, even like on the news and how all the chaos was happening with the school board, if you watched his mannerism, because the news, they would sweep to see the faces and reactions.
And cue in on
him. They cued in on him. They cued in on him. Let me tell you. They cued in on him because he was the son of the president. So you attacking, and that's where I give mad respect and kudos. You are attacking not just the president of the school board. You're attacking this man's mother. And they always zoomed in. I don't even know if he realized this. They will always zoom in on his reaction. But in that moment, he was playing his position. He was that was the president. I'm a school board member. They couldn't get any read. Yes, couldn't get any read. And it was like, okay, that's somebody that's professional. But every single time, because I was watching too, because guess what? If I was there, I'm going to zoom in too. I'm going to zoom in too.
When they would be queuing in like at different times.
And then it would be,
he would actually be very professional, just, and they would catch him speaking on certain things. And my family used to think I was crazy, like, after, and I know him. They would be looking at me like, fool, shut up.
and here,
very professional.
And here's the thing. So he was running for council person. Well, if you see this person, I would think that this person resided in the area forever. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you want this person I would think he would have the best interest of that ward.
Well, you just answered your question. Best interest versus politics, political climate, the behind the scenes.
Somebody that's genuine. It's
exactly.
And care.
Exactly what you're saying is sometimes the opposition from the powers that be, which brings back the conversation of we must be educated on issues. We must understand politics. So many of us vote and we don't even understand the political climate in which we vote. We don't learn about issues. We look at race. We look at party, just like the live studio audience said, and we don't look at what is best for our community. And a lot of times, I remember when President Obama was elected and there was this big thing about, okay, now we've gotten him into office. Where is the backup that's going to support him while he's in office? We go halfway and then we don't go the rest of the way. If there were enough people to support him as the best candidate, maybe some of the things that they did to oppose him and to try to stop him would not have occurred. We need to, as a community of people, understand the political climate in which we have the right to exercise our voting power, our ability to speak up and support. We don't really do enough of that.
I'm going to add this. I don't know if you guys know, but I'll catch you up. If you don't know, like with Brenda Kimball being the school board president, I remember when she was first running. Behind her 100%, they don't know the history. She was somebody who was on the PTA. And now they call them the PTO. They ain't got nothing. Y'all ain't got nothing better to do. Y'all changing these initials for the... Anyway, she was a parent. So she started, what they say, I started at the bottom, now I'm here. She went up the ladder. So that's the best person for the job.
But who all knows that? Who takes the time?
Everybody's listening to Shop Talk right now.
Yes, but who takes the time to research these things? Everything is so popular. Just like we have popular vote versus electoral. I mean, it's the same mindset. So if that person isn't popular enough or you don't know enough about the issues themselves, like something as important as PTA all the way up to school board.
A parent.
You don't even understand the power of what you're doing.
And trying to tear
that person in or out of office.
Right. And then you're trying to get this person out of office. I'm like, look, that's the parent. That is the parent. So now you look at, and we constantly say over and over, it's the parent. We want to deal with the parent and the child, the parent and the child. Well, now you have the parent that's the president, that knows that side, just listen. And this is not a plug to say, hey, vote Brenda Kimball. But I mean, y'all have to look at the picture. It's like once people get there, why are we tearing people down instead of saying, okay, let's see what's really going on? It's the politics. That's why I say politics. Now, listen, I do a vlogism, and listen, y'all can't steal this, but I'm going to tell you, I had a major question on the vlogism, VLOGISDOM, something I made up. Google it, and y'all pop up. If you fight the power to obtain the power, what did I say? Yeah, fight the power to obtain the power. What will you do to sustain the power once you get the power?
When you elected a black president, did you support him once you got him in? I just said that.
Some of them didn't. They like, but some older black people had a problem with a black president.
Sure
Listen, I was
a bunch of younger ones too after his second term.
But wait a minute, an older person. Now you wait. It's like history has been like made, and this is something. Yay! Some people just voted because he was black.
I was gonna say, but some people just voted because he was black. They didn't care what his political stand was. He was black.
He was black.
And there was a popular morning show where every Tuesday and Thursday there was a commentary on, and he and the host fell out, and he left his show behind that because he didn't feel that President Obama was the best candidate, and caused an uproar on that whole morning radio show. He had to leave the show. So we get caught up in things that are not necessarily political in terms of issues and the climate of our country. So if it's happening on a large scale, what do you think is happening in little old Youngstown, where we won't even have a newspaper in 6 weeks?
And listen.
Well, that ain't necessarily a bad.
Go ahead, Roogle. Because what they one-sided sell.
Because they abuse their First Amendment rights. You know what I mean? They Lord.
Exactly.
Listen, I had not seen this much mourning over a situation when GM and when the steel mill left. You know what I'm saying?
But the owners,
that was big. That was big.
That's big because it affects the people. But the Vindicator,
lot of people.
here's the thing though.
About it.
The owners of the Vindicator, they own what? WKBN? They got money.
But they still have the TV shows.
Yeah,
they inform people by way of the TV.
They just figure it's not lucrative. They're in a business.
Yeah, they didn't have this kind of
they're in a business.
Memorials going on. They didn't have memorials going on like this.
Right, they had a whole people coming
to support the Vindicator the other day.
And listen, and you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and that's why they know I'm gonna shop talk. Listen, and they probably sitting at the crib in a $1 million mansion while these people trying to have subscriptions and figure out, I'm on a fixed income, but I want to get this subscription because I don't want them to leave. In a $1 million mansion, probably like, look at these idiots.
Knowing they still gonna shut it down.
Listen, it's a business. Exactly. And that's what people need to realize. If this business is not lucrative for me, it's not. Okay, I'm not committed to the community.
That's the issue was it wasn't committed to the community. And in Youngstown proper, it really wrote articles that really went against minorities. You know, like one. It was one where it was a gentleman.
Hold on.
They shut down the Sharon Herald. Why it ain't nothing but this big?
It was many, but the issue about the many was the one issue was there was a situation when it was sad. It was a store owner, and he got, I guess, robbed and shot and murdered in his store, which is terrible. But their comments was they used black community. They said the silence of the black community is deafening, right? And they have black community with a small b. Ooh, yeah.
See stuff like that we noticed that everybody ain't paying attention.
Yeah, and so like in that moment, it's like, hey. You first of all, you don't know what anyone has particularly done because a lot of times you ain't gotta. It ain't gotta be a press conference to help somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that when we have any store in our community close, or a person that's dedicated to working in our community no longer works in our community, that's a hit on us. We don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? But the issue was like, when you think about all the other black deaths that have happened in this city, all these other things, like, they never said the silence of the white community is deafening because this is happening.
Lowercase
W.
You know what I'm
Lowercase
saying?
W.
Yeah. And so it's like they point out this, so time and time again, you write articles that are anti-black community. So who like I remember somebody asked me about the paper, and I said at one point, no self-respecting black man would ever buy the Vindicator. That was my feeling. Just because of they never, like, there are so many issues that dig so deep in the Youngstown. They never do an investigative report on poverty. The only time they ever do something like that is when it's some group that's coming in to build something. Oh, we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, or we're going to clean up this corridor, or we're going to do that. But the issue is like, what is the sustaining issues that keep poverty and violence and crime prevalent in these areas? They're not doing any investigative reporting or digging into the issue, or writing about how come the city, how the city council or city government has failed, the community, the neighborhoods. You know what I mean? All they talk about was, oh, this is happening downtown. So it's kind of like, to me, I think people were sad because, like, in their eyes, losing the Vindicator was like, it was a pillar. But the thing is that pillar of the community neglected the community, half of the community. And that was what I saw. When they would be in the grocery store talking about, we want to give it away for free. I'm like, you can keep that. I don't even want to.
Me too.
But
I will get the hard times though.
Yeah, but you gotta get your hard times. You gotta get your hard times.
I gotta get hard times.
But that was the thing. Like you see something that's truly not representing you in any way, shape, or form. But you want us to still buy it. Even in Hollywood, they learned, and this is my Lion King point for today. They learned about being inclusive of a community. Because I was thinking, like, why is it so important for me to go see this new Lion King versus the old one? And
we're gonna talk about that during your segment.
But the point is, even Disney realized they had to have inclusion. Everybody realized there needs to be inclusion, except for Youngstown, because the paper doesn't show inclusion. The news anchors, whenever they hire a new one, they never hire any minorities. I'm just saying.
And for the naysayers, I do have a relative in law enforcement in Youngstown, and we were having our 4th of July cookout, and this discussion came up, and they did say there are so many more Caucasian convicts out there, but they are not reported.
Right.
Vindicator. So for those who are sitting here thinking we're trying to justify or cover up for black crime, we're not, because there are those in law enforcement who will admit off the record that there are a lot of white convicts and there's a lot of white crime
that is
not being reported.
Yeah.
Exactly, because we've worked in that system. We see who's in those jails.
Right. That's why I try to tell people, I'm like, don't let them program you and tell you it's predominantly black. No, not anymore.
We're the ones getting convicted more. But we're being highlighted more, but we're not the only ones.
Woo! You want to see it?
That's why I said they need to go ahead and close the Sharon Herald down, because that's what.
And the Sharon Herald is the
Shenango Valley, Pennsylvania paper.
Newspaper? Okay.
The newspaper. Farrell, Sharon, Hermitage, West Middlesex. They always, if it's something that a black person did or something that is affecting the black community negatively, front page of the paper. But if it's something that affects us positively or something positive, every once in a blue moon it'll be front page news. Now,
let it be A7 small segment in the bottom.
let it be something negative that a white person has done or against the white community. You don't hear about it unless it's hearsay. Or like,
I wonder if they're a sponsor. If they're a sponsor of, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you're a sponsor of like that newspaper or whatever, it's like, okay, well, we don't want to do that because we don't want to lose our sponsorship.
Right.
Almost like with churches. And y'all already know Front and Center coming out with your churches. You have people in there, you have families that will run a church, because they are the big tithe payers.
Right.
And you be like, well, wait a minute, that's not right. Y'all don't even know, honey. We going in.
So I have a question for you, Mel, the hostess.
With the mostest info.
Because when you brought up church, I remember that I knew someone who was having an issue with their furnace. And they called the church for help. And the response was, if you don't contribute to the benevolent fund, we can't help you.
Interesting, because I found that out when I was probably about 10 years ago. And my cousin, I'm putting it out there, I ain't going to say her name to protect the innocent.
Yeah, it was one of my cousins, too.
And she belonged to that church. And because we are groomed that the church is where you get your help. And they told her the same thing. And she didn't have heat. Now, I'm going to tell you as a tithe payer, and a lot of people are like, oh, they just want your money. They just want your money. Here's the deal. And I shared with her. I said, I feel you, where she was hurt by the church. And it's like, you got to look at, and the church is a business. It's a business.
Yeah,
so
preach.
You have a
It
house and you got to pay for these things to be on. But you're saying, come on in, we'll help you. We'll help the community, the whole nine. And she needed some help at that time, and that church turned away from her. But she didn't spend her dollar signs. She spent her time that she cannot get back, volunteering, doing all. And they said
Most
that
important.
Yes, and you listen. You preaching to a handful of members. What good is that? I mean, it is good. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, when you got 5 people, but here she's coming, so she's building and she's telling people, come join, boom. And they did that to her. And I explained to her, I said, they probably shouldn't have said it that way. They could have said, well, come in, have a meeting. Let's talk and see what's really going on. What's your issue? I'm going to share this, not even with her. I had another relative who chose not to pay her gas bill. Chose.
Made a decision.
Made a conscious decision and said it was her birthday weekend. She going out. I go over her house. I seen the sticker on the door. To me, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling bad. But then I already know she just went to the mall to get her outfit for tonight because we all supposed to go out.
You gotta have an outfit.
Listen, right. I get a shut off notice for 38. Remember I told you 38.61?
Oh, I got one for like $1.60 one time.
So I call the people. And I said, wait a minute, I'm livid. Her bill, and I said how much her bill was. It was like $3,000 or whatever. I was like, I don't know. I said, y'all sending me a disconnection notice for $38.61 and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and I just left my cousin's house and she got this disconnection notice for over $3,000. I was like, and y'all didn't shut her stuff. And he was like, ma'am, what's your cousin's address? I said, never mind.
Here's your $40.
Right. But here's the thing. He told me, he said, when it gets that high, they don't care. So when it's low, I said, but why am I being harassed when they got a better chance?
To pay yours.
Right.
Because your money's going to come in, theirs is not.
Right. So my reasoning for saying this, it's talking about with the churches, is they don't know if I'm paying my tithes, boom, 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 I'm paying, and I need help. And then you're like, we don't have anymore because we just gave, I'm about to say a name. We just gave Tamika, we just paid her gas bill. Or we just paid her furnace or whatever. But Tamika had the money and went to Mountaineer with her money. So you have to take all of that into consideration. I think that's probably part of it too. And I explained that to my cousin. I said, well, wait a minute. I understand. And like I said, she was committed. Everything they had, she's serving the kids. She working vacation Bible school. Talk about community service. She was doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that they should have said, okay, wait, let's see. Maybe come in the front of the church and be like, we have a member that's in need of this.
Right.
And if you want to donate something, some type of effort. So I felt for her. She eventually just left the church totally. She didn't leave God, but she left the church. And I said, that's not the church for you. And I'm with you. But when you do have, it's a bank, it's like a bank. And y'all hear me say over and over, even when I'm talking and when you speak in positivity to somebody, you can't expect to withdraw if you didn't make a deposit.
Right.
Come on. Because if you just keep going up there, boom, 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 and then the person that made a deposit can't withdraw because we over here giving this. Come on now.
That's one thing that I can say about my church. That's what they do. If they don't have it to give, the pastor gonna get it. We have a member in need like that. They're not gonna say nobody's name unless that person is okay with it. anything you $1, and they start passing that basket around.
And you will surpass
Exactly.
your goal.
And they usually do. That's
Yeah.
one thing I can definitely say about my church. And they, even before Pastor Steele became pastor, you know,
Shout out to Pastor Steele.
Yes, the pastor that founded the church. He's dead and gone now, but Reverend Otis Alexander. That's the basis of how it's family oriented, and it's always been that way. We've had people come and go and have things to say, oh, they in here too long, or people in there got gossip. That's any church, anywhere. But it's always been that way. They have never, ever, ever, ever turned anybody away. Ever.
Now that's nice, because guess what? I'm turning people away. But I had got to the place where people, like, if they needed something, I would go and pay a bill. I wouldn't give them the money. I would go down and I would pay the bill.
I've done that.
Right.
And
Yeah,
especially with children, that's like my soft spot.
I remember at my church, I had a situation where my car, I don't know, something was going on with my car, but this wasn't the church though. It was a member who's asked me. He's like, well, let me go, and this is what he said. He said, let me go talk to my wife about it.
Hey, he's smart.
Then the next time I seen him, they gave me $150 to help me get my car fixed.
Nice.
You know, and like it didn't come to that much. Not because I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, they never told me I had to pay them back, and I gave them the change because it didn't come to that amount.
Man, that's cool.
But
you ain't gonna buy no hot chips, no hot Cheetos,
no.
in your car while it's fixed.
But you know, I gave them the change. I was like, here, you know, thank you, because they never told me I had to pay them back. You know, but and not that I feel guilty about it, but I feel like I want to pay them back.
Right.
And they probably won't even accept it, to be honest with you.
But at least you said here. And they see what I'm saying? See, that's a good thing.
But it was like sometimes.
And to me, that's tithing too.
Yeah.
You giving back to the you giving back.
Yeah.
Church.
And that was one of the things,
like
for me, like when I was truly active, I was the AV person. You know what I mean? So like every Sunday, I'm at, you know, now don't get me wrong, our church started early, you know, but I had to be there at 8:00. You know what I mean?
This is a white church.
Yeah.
They in and out.
We
quick.
get you in, we get you out. We get you prayed up in the morning. They be like, hey, you want to go to lunch? I'm like, lunch? That sounds nice. You know what I mean? Versus like, you want to go to dinner?
You were like, man, I got to get ready for work tomorrow. Yes.
You go there. They're like, what are you going to have? Oh, we're going to soup and salad. You know, that makes sense because, hey, it's 12 o'clock.
It's 12 o'clock.
You know what I mean?
This is it.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Kim?
I feel that, first of all, you made a very good point that people don't realize. Church is a business.
Mm-hmm.
Should it be? My answer is no. Because when we're sitting here preaching about outreach and to those who are less fortunate than that, here I am going deep.
Go deep, honey. Go deep.
The cousin who went shopping instead of paying her gas bill, you know her, I'm on validation, right? That's her opportunity to validate herself on something that's special to her. I'm not saying that it's the most positive and productive decision, but what we need to do as a church, first of all, I applaud Nikki's church because I feel that as the church, we should help everybody regardless of their circumstances, regardless of why. But on the flip side of that is then we should also educate our people.
There you go.
Let's talk about why it was so important for you to buy an outfit and then go home to a cold house with cold water and no gas. Let's talk about
with your children.
Because, but there's something. It's deeper than she just wanted to have a nice outfit.
School in. School in. School's in. School is in. Listen, that's a great idea. I just got one. If you go to the church and you need assistance, I think that you should have to go to some classes.
Yeah, let's talk about why.
And then, listen, for that reason, be like, okay, listen, before you get baptized, don't you got to go to the classes?
But the church is still the church. So I don't think we should say no. But somewhere along the line,
let's
educate our people so that we can make decisions of prosperity across the board.
I ain't saying you got to go like for 1 month to get help. I'm just saying, okay, you got to go to this meeting.
Your exam, and if you fail it, you ain't got.
You ain't getting it. Yeah, you gonna be cold. You can come stay over.
I don't agree
Go ahead.
with that. But I will say this is that like that.
People will think twice before they come. They be like, I ain't trying to go to school.
But that teaching of good stewardship should happen every Sunday.
It should.
You know what I'm saying? But I will say,
ain't nobody going to Sunday school though.
Well, it should happen every Sunday. But the point I'm saying is that okay. In addition, this is one reason why I love the church I haven't even really attended regularly lately, but this is why I love that church for the past, because I can have stories like this. Is that we didn't just have Bible study. We had different topics that there was a finance class you could take. At the church.
But the person in need ain't taking the finance class. But the
point is that it's offered to you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like they had all different kinds of classes. They even had a gardening class.
Oh, how
that
fun.
was focused on, like, everything was focused on God. You know what I mean? But it talked about, hey, this is that particular issue. You know what I mean? We got this class for this. We got that class for that. Now,
gardening. I went to a church. Don't lose your thought. And that's what the message was. It just came to me. It was. I forgot what the message was.
The fruit you bear?
It was who's doing the work and who's reaping the benefits. That's what it was about. And it was just like pretty much like you said, you have the person that's eating of the garden, but they're not planting none. But it was a good word. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that, like, church can be what you make it. And what I saw at that church was that it was the average churchgoer who felt like, hey, I got a talent, I want to do this. Can I do a group this quarter on this? And not even a year-round
just
thing.
Getting involved.
It was just like 15 weeks, or whatever it was, 10, 15 weeks.
15 weeks.
But the thing is, it's a long time.
Like prison
but
time.
if it's something that you do, and you want to share that one thing one day a week with your members of your church, then why not do that? You ain't got to do it all year long. You just do it one semester. We had semesters.
Listen, okay, he said 15 weeks. You know that sounds like prison time. They be like, I got 130 months. You be like, if it make you feel better, but you be like, I like 10 years. But
130 months.
You like 15 weeks. I think I'll be better. Be like, it's only 6 months. 6 months sound a lot better. 6.5 months.
Well, because it ain't really that. I went on the top end. You know what I mean? But you can create it to be
you
whatever
got me
you want
with
to
6
be.
months. It's only 6 months. It's not a whole year.
Yeah.
But you said 15 weeks. I'm like, dang.
Well, the semester, that's not.
I know, but still.
That's about 4 months.
I got you.
You know, but the point is that you have a chance to, if it's that one time thing that you want to do just to try it out. You ain't got to do it year round. And I think that was the thing that kept us not fatigued, was that you got to switch to something different if you wanted to.
Okay. And everybody got their opportunity to show their strengths.
If you wanted to, yeah.
And if you didn't, you didn't have to. Okay, that sounds nice.
But
I'm back to the classes that
I
think can educate the people.
But I kind of feel
maybe
like
one meeting. Maybe one meeting. It's like, you come to me, you like, listen, I need blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, well, you could just meet this day, 4 o'clock. And at that meeting, you be there at 4 o'clock. And then we talk about this is how you should do it, and then go.
Like a counseling session.
Yes, a counseling session.
Instead of mandatory class, counseling session. And I'm not saying that it should have to be done that formally. I agree with Roogle that it should be part of the every week process. However, how do we incorporate that?
I got 2 hands in the air. In life, you already know if you need something and you got to go to your parent. Now, everybody got that parent or that aunt or that grandparent that you got to hear this lecture before you get it.
Never mind, I don't want
it. You got to hear this lecture by the time you get what it is you want. You're like, I don't feel like it. I'm going to go to somebody else.
But the church comes from a root of we reach out to the hungry, the poor, the ignorant, the weak. That's really what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes, and then you have those that feel like that if you do that, and if the pastor is driving in a Lexus, they feel like, some of these people feel like you need to give, and the pastor need to be riding the bus. Somebody told me that.
Well, I think the issue is that you need to like every member has a chance to go to the business meeting. And at the business meeting, you need to say, well, why are we doing this?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what constitutes a fair and balanced salary for the preacher?
Now you're... Okay, now
you can't just show up and complain about the car he drives if you ain't in there, or the car he or she drives.
Right. And you ain't in there doing nothing.
Meeting.
Now, here's the thing. Now, all of what you're saying, I think that's a great idea. It takes me back to what I was talking about earlier with church being a business. Who paying for the lights? For these meetings and these gardening classes and all that. Well, gardening, I guess you having it outside.
Your tithes pay for that. You know what I'm saying?
If you're paying it.
But even if you're not, even if you're not, let's say you don't tithe regularly, but you give money, whatever it is. If if it helps build the body of Christ, it's worth every penny.
Because if he's driving a Lexus and the lights are on and the church is warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and he's delivering the message, doesn't matter what he drives. And does that mean necessarily that he's getting a large salary? Maybe he's just good with money management.
Maybe he working another job, like most of them working a second job.
So then if that's what's happening, then is it what he drives, or is it what he's doing for the body of Christ? Or any religion?
Now here's my point. Look, we done went the other way, segue on over to something else. Here's the thing, though. Let's be real. We go to work. Mm-hmm. And most people go, I don't go Monday through Friday, but most people go Monday through Friday, put in a 40-hour week. You have different professions. You got doctors, you got nurses, you got pastors. It's like, that's their job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not supposed to get paid for their job.
Then the preacher can drive a Lexus then.
They're supposed to just constantly just give. I had dated somebody. Let me tell you something. I dated somebody that it was a wake up call because I assumed. Yes, I use the word assume. Y'all can break it down if y'all want to. I assumed that he believed in God. I never asked. Mm-hmm. I assumed that he believed in God, and you know what he told me? It's a job. He played. You know, he was minister of music.
Okay.
Minister of music. Mm-hmm. The minister of music applied for a job and got a job and get paid, and he had no connection. I said, you don't get the word? Don't you get the word? You sit next to it. He was like, I hear it, but it was a job. And that was a wake-up call for me because I'm thinking just like you, Kim, you know, when you're in the church, it's like you're busy in ministry, this and that. This is something you want to do. This $400 a service. You got paid. Put them fingers on ice, okay? Bing, all Sunday, boom, boom, boom. And he would get paid there. But it was a job. So he would go to the choir rehearsal, he had to be there, and then he would play. But when he said that, that's when I realized, oh, this is a business. And you have
501c3.
And then I found out I also found out in the mega churches too. With the mega churches, and somebody told me, people like they come and speak. And they be like, oh, no, it's for the church. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say, like, and I know how sweet your mom is. She'll volunteer to go, oh, yeah, I'll speak. Don't worry about it. Bah. Somebody told me, he said, you better get paid. Mm-hmm. He's inside there. He said, oh, they have the money, but that's how they get over. He said, that's how they get over. You'll charge somebody out here for you to show up and speak. But you won't in there because of your heart and your culture and being brought up. And this is what we're supposed to do for God. He's like, but it's a business.
And that was the hardest transition for me as a coach. Because what comes from the heart and what comes from the business.
Yes.
I do a lot of that in coaching. Once you say this is your job, you get paid for that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I know also at my church, they've had plenty of speakers that have come in. Like,
he talk about his church. No, kudos to his church. Kudos to your church, though, for real.
Thank you. But this is something that can be viewed as a negative, though, too. I'm sure, like, there were speakers that came there. I'm sure they paid them. But I do know for sure they were selling books and whatever afterwards.
Right.
So, like, sometimes you'll have a person that'll be like, it was this one dude. I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, he was from Austria. But he was doing work in Africa. And he actually, I got like one or two of his books. But the point was, the thing was that we kind of had like this every, let's say 2 or 3 months, we would have this speaker come in from somewhere else around the world where they were doing some kind of work, you know. But it's like, yeah, they getting paid to come here because they're an evangelist, you know, in that nature of it. Mm-hmm. But then it was also like, well, let me show you this video of a work we doing, and this is what we selling. And I bought some myrrh from a lady one time.
Mm-hmm.
Explain
myrrh,
what that is.
like frankincense, myrrh, gold. It's like, yeah, but this, like, it's like it's like little. It was like little crystals.
Okay.
That you could like I don't know, maybe it's like you could melt it down if you wanted to or whatever. It smells good. But the point was that, like, yeah, it was a lot of people that was coming through like, this is what we do, and you know, whatever. And I'm sure
so it was more like a promotional tour.
It was promotional, but it was under the guise of missionary work.
promotional
So
tour.
yeah, so they paying you know, so you giving this
For my listeners.
yeah, so you giving this well, I'm just saying this under the guise of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you giving these people money to go, oh, here's this money, go do your mission.
Okay.
You know.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't see
They even sponsor me. Well, the thing is, it's like well, my thoughts is like it's like what you're doing, because it was this one dude. It was like the Middle Eastern. I forgot where it was at, but something was going on, and we sent them rice, water, and Bibles.
Bibles are good.
Yeah.
Okay. Rice,
But-
water, and Bibles. Right.
Because like you can't
guess
really sit. When you in situations of
Rice
like
will-
dire
rice-
poverty,
rice
you
will
can't
definitely
really
last.
send perishable items.
I'm like rice
You know,
rice will last.
You know what I'm saying? So you
rice
had
will
to-
preach.
Yeah. So it was like that, especially like I forgot where it was at, but it was like they was doing a lot of like, which I'm on the fence about, but they were doing a lot of what is it? I want to say conversion because I can't think of the word.
Okay.
But you know, some of these people were Muslims and stuff, and they became
Oh, okay.
Christians.
You can't go wrong there. Okay.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, but I'm kind of. I don't really know about that whole conversion thing a lot of times. I'm on the fence about it. I mean, I understand biblically why, but I'm still on the fence of it culturally.
Okay. All right. Nick, look at your nails. Did you get them redone? Oh, well, she did that. What's her name again?
Her name, she goes Chiffon Ford, but
Listen. I knew it was going to be something fancy. Chiffon
Ford.
Chiffon Ford. Okay, your nails look good, but what's her name?
Chiffon Ford. Bombed by Chiffon. Bombed by Chiffon.
Bombed. Bombed by Chiffon.
Be what?
Bombed.
Bombed.
You know, we gotta be quick before they send the people over here. You know, we had them
Okay.
bombs quick.
Okay.
This is what she called is for her nail business.
Her nail, boy, they show coming up. There's some creative folk.
Mail
Ain't
on
Okay.
Otera's watch.
'Cause
right, have me on the list.
I was thinking like, was it BALB?
B-A.
Bombed.
Yeah.
Wait.
no.
I was like, I didn't know if that was a connection to nail.
Oh yeah, but she's doing her thing. She does it from her home. She has one room set up just like a nail shop.
Oh, okay.
Trying to get a truck.
Trying to get
A truck?
out.
Wait a minute, what you mean?
Traveling, yeah, because she will travel.
That's
Traveling
cool.
nail tech.
Hey,
She
they
will
doing
travel.
it. It's that time. But I know one thing: the way when
Entrepreneur.
poverty kicks in, y'all know. For me, even being a licensed cosmetologist, it was like, okay, I got to do something else. That's when I sat there and went into nursing because I was like, I cannot base my livelihood on if somebody comes or if they
Comes or
don't.
not.
And we're talking back in 1991, and it was like, okay, because we already know the first thing to get cut, we be like, I can cut my own hair. You know what I mean? When when it's things that
Back
needs,
then.
when it's a gas bill that got to be paid, you be like, I'll skip them.
Now everybody,
Now
everybody
let's
want
show
them
us our
weeds.
birthday.
They doing it now.
They doing it. Real
They
big
doing it.
now.
Hair is it. Shake it. The hair is in. That is it. That is it. All right. So this R. Kelly thing and I know y'all trying to get past that, but
That's cool.
the whole R. Kelly thing. Now I was following it. I'm tired of it, but I was following it for you lovely listeners. Where before they was charging him, trying to recharge him for things that he had already been charged for. They tried to bring those up. Now the Fed, we're spending federal dollars on him and his mess. I'm not saying that it is not important. The Savage family is like, no, until they get their daughter, until she returns, she's grown.
Well, he in jail now.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if she choosing not to come home,
What
I mean,
you want?
if you know what I'm saying? Like, if he was the person that was keeping her locked up, I mean, unless she changed somewhere.
Right. And what she changed? Will him.
Stockholm syndrome. She's
Right.
still committed to him.
And he said he ain't gonna let it go. Come on. There's some people that got Stockholm syndrome around this area that's still committed to a dude that said, bye, I'm gone, moved on with somebody else, and she's still over there looking for him in daylight with a flashlight.
Yeah. Hannon, I'm telling you.
Like, come on now.
funny.
On
That's
Facebook
funny.
talking about him married to somebody.
The Fed
He married to
really
somebody else.
believe-
Now listen here. All right, let's just get these shop talk questions out the week. Let's
All
just
right.
move on because we're going to get with
Yay.
you. And your segment, Roogle.
Shop the top.
Shop talk question of the week. I got 3 of them. Here's the deal. We're going to go around. Hey, Siri, listen.
I just wanted to see what time it was.
Listen, Siri, let me tell you what's going on. A man, he's kicking it with this girl. He gets married on her, meaning he married somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They've been married for 2 years, and he's still kicking it with her. What's wrong with that picture?
He don't need to be married and the old girl stupid.
Okay. That the voice of the community.
Yeah, I think it's an issue of like okay, let me.
What can a guy tell you? If you marry somebody, okay, be quiet. Go ahead. I say my piece.
I guess my thoughts are. I just kind of feel like there's two things. Maybe the girl that's cheating on him. Maybe the girl that's the side piece. Realize that he ain't marriage material, and she like, well,
she's still there.
Yeah, but she may not. She may be there because it's convenient for her.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like we looking at.
I'm telling you that ain't the case. I'm telling you that she was in love with him and he married somebody else. And then she's still there available. But then she just went off on Facebook though. And I got the screenshot.
Well, then she did.
You can't go off, fool. You messing with somebody's whole husband. What is wrong?
But she wasn't her whole. He wasn't the whole husband when they got together. Go ahead.
He is now, yeah.
But do you just turn your heart off like that? Y'all kicking it, y'all dating, y'all in love, and he gets married.
Well, it ain't no y'all.
But that's
love.
telling you.
Well,
wait, one at a time.
So you teach people how to treat you. So what we have to do is go back to her. What's going on within you that this person? Because apparently he was doing some kind of way before he got married for him to feel he could do that to her and she'd still be there.
Okay.
A part of it for me is just like this. It's like. Even if there comes a point where she needs to realize that this wasn't the right. This is no longer good. And that should have been when he got engaged to her woman. You know what I mean?
2 years later,
and other people's. But
okay, go ahead, Nick.
That goes back to. You have to know your worth. Do you feel that you are not worth anything, that you gonna sit there and still be in love with a man that you was messing with forever and a day? I don't know how long they was messing around, but then he turned around and get married on you and you still want to be there for him? He was letting you know that woman he married was worth more than you and you was messing with him first. What is wrong, child? Please, get it together.
Go ahead, Kim.
But to Rugel's point, maybe it was to her advantage that she stays with him, because if we don't know the dynamics of their relationship,
I told y'all. Yeah, I know it.
But was he taking care of her?
Yes.
Was he contributing to her household? Yes. And is he still continuing to do that?
He did until she posted on Facebook and said she had enough.
So.
All right.
Okay.
Is this like
finally starting to realize?
Okay. So was this the long drawn out?
Yes.
Girl.
Yes. Yes.
I was wondering why she put him on blast.
Yes. She put him on blast.
Okay.
Look at Roogle looking like, wow, you see it?
Is it somebody I know?
Yes.
I missed it then.
Yes.
Girl, it got so tough. She had to tell people to stop trying to friend her because they were trying to read that.
Yes.
She said, "Oh no."
Oh, did she have to tell people to stop?
Why tell her to stop? If she like boo.
No, friend her. No. The new people were trying to be her friend.
To read her post.
To read her post. But her post was for
she put
what it was
on blast.
But here's my thing.
But I didn't know she was kicking it with him.
Well,
nobody knew until she said it, and then she put his name. She put the other
she sure did.
I seen
his
it.
Wife's name.
Yes.
Too.
Now here's where. Yes. Look at that. Girl, we go after the show. After the show, I got you. After the show. But here's the thing.
What?
Look at Roogle looking like, wait a minute. What?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. I feel like this. First of all, I got two things. Mm-hmm. You with this guy, you kept it a secret. Don't allow any man to keep you a secret. That's one. You marry somebody else on me, okay? But she agreed to this, so that was their agreement. You marry somebody on me. You cannot blame the wife because the wife usually don't know that he got people shelved, okay? So you still chose to be quiet. I'm glad she said it. She had enough, so she spoke out. It took some time, but she spoke out. Now here's the deal: here we go. I don't even got nothing. Okay, I'm about to. Let me get something for you. Okay, side. Here you go. There you go. Sound effects. What you need to do if you are going to be with somebody else or cheat with somebody, I always recommend the author of How the Wife Becomes the Other Woman. Mm-hmm. I always recommend if you cheat, make sure they have something to lose. Make sure they have something to lose.
Oh, the person you cheating with.
The person you cheating with. Because if they don't have anything to lose, they gonna throw you out there. She clearly said she ain't have nothing to lose. Because she said, I am not ashamed.
And she went.
Well, she ain't got nothing to lose. Now, if you gonna cheat and you got something to lose,
She got him to lose.
listen. Listen. She put it out there. I wanted to be with you. We ain't together. Blah blah. Look at him. See, Roogle now catching up. Hey, live in effect. And some of y'all
did she come to the play? Because she should have clearly came to the play.
Yeah.
You know what? No, she didn't. But
She
the-
needed to.
Yeah, she did, because it showed you how it happens. You got to be with somebody to have something to lose. I'm going to tell you something. I ain't cheating with nobody, but anybody that know me, if I'm kicking it with somebody or dating somebody, I'm always dating somebody who has something to lose.
But something must have happened for her to finally put him out there like that. Something went awry.
It didn't go her way, because if I'm going to be the other woman, it need to go. The ball got to be in my court. If I'm going to settle, the ball got to be in my court. So at some point, he must have said no. And she said, I had enough.
That last line.
Woo!
That
Did you
last
see it?
line. All I think about is reported pictures.
Woo, woo.
Yeah, that's
My thing is, she had something to lose.
yeah,
She ain't got nothing to
She
lose.
got him to lose. She got him to lose.
But that's nothing.
And
When he got
obviously
married,
to her,
that should have been enough. Right there.
And I'm with you. That should have been enough. When he got married by Sia.
yeah, you know what? A lot of that is. I didn't read it thoroughly, but a lot of that is crazy rambling.
Yes, it is.
You could have got to the point.
But you're a guy.
Because when I can leave a lot,
You're a guy.
even when it's something good, and it's like I don't be on Facebook a lot.
Roogle, this stuff blew up.
All I'm
Yes.
saying is because a lot of it is nonsensical. You know what I mean?
But we're going to let that be a word, though.
I just want to dig in. I just want to dig deep and just say this rant. Like a lot of that is rant. You could have got through that in 160 characters.
He done broke it down.
You already
I'm
know.
just saying. I mean, it's crazy, but it's like one of those things where it's this. After reading it, I see why she stuck around. Like she get caught up in the minutia of things.
Okay.
But
that was a reply.
That was a reply.
He replied to her, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And just it's out there, so guess what? He ain't cared it was out there. He was like, I gave you money, you ain't have to pay me back and all that other stuff. He had enough too, so clearly that's over. My thing is, where do you move forward with your wife? How does your wife feel?
Well, that depends on how your wife feels. You know what I mean? My thoughts would be,
Would you think just 2 years, like, oh my gosh, were we really committed to each other?
But you know what? But the thing is like how people be doing these weddings and all this kind of stuff. Like they put it and not knowing the person, they put a lot of energy into stuff. You know what I mean? So like some of that stuff is it's a lot for I think that person needs to reevaluate, the wife needs to reevaluate how she feels about the relationship and if it's something they can move on from. Because to me it's a little bit different if the husband comes to her and says, I've been unfaithful and let me tell you this why.
So that would be the only way you can fix it to me.
But I think in this case it's like he was put on blast because of what happened. Like it would have continued to happen. From here on out.
Go ahead.
So that, I think that's
if she wouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah, if she would have said that, it would have continued to happen. Like eventually, there would have been probably like a love child or something crazy or whatever. But,
I hope not at this age.
Well, you never know.
I'm like,
Yeah,
but that still goes back to know your worth because that was me. That would have been because right then and there, I don't care what he was doing for you, what he was doing for your kids, if he was helping you out or whatever. The fact that he married another woman on you, that should have been enough because that
you should have been gone.
Telling you that he felt like that you was good enough to be a booty call to lay down with, to do whatever he want, but you were not good enough to marry and become his wife and have his last name.
Yeah.
I would have been done.
But the mistress, though, could have felt like she had an upper hand because he kept coming around.
That ain't no upper hand.
Let me rephrase it. She may have felt like this is my vindictive tactic towards this woman because the thing is usually
toward what woman?
The wife. Usually
No know about you, then how are you being vindictive?
But this is like this. I've been watching some daytime television lately.
Come on, Roogle.
And it's always seemed like the guy's the one doing the dirt, but it's like the women is fighting each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I see it, they be like, Jerry.
Oh God! Like a Jerry. That was like a Jerry moment.
And the dude's standing there, and the two girls is fighting each other when they should be fighting him.
He dug a deeper hole, don't you think?
You know, when they, I mean, oh, his hole is deep.
It's
you know,
deep.
He ain't nothing. You know, I didn't. Oh, Lord.
Go ahead. You got something to say, live studio audience?
You know what? Matters of the heart are really a sensitive space. And, you know, by women being people that they're nurturers. And by women being nurturers, we always think we can fix. So that means
am I a woman?
Whatever your hurts and your pains are. So when you come to us with a story of how you really care about me and you love me, but this is your situation, we tend to kind of take that on and eat that, and we have compassion. So that compassion, along with, because we love you, we listen to you and we hear you. But then when we see that your game is just a game and we've had enough, it's like, stop. If I've asked you to not bother me, because hurt people hurt people.
That right there is a cop-out.
Yeah, if I've asked you to not bother me, then, you know, I need to do what I need to do to make you go away, because I'm trying to go on with my life. But if it's like there's a bandage on a sore, and if you keep taking that bandage off and you're snatching it off and you're sticking something in that sore and you're opening that wound again, I need you to stop doing that.
Okay, now you said hurt people. I think that's a cop-out. I think that you need to date somebody all the time who has something to lose. Because it's like, okay, pretty much if you don't scream, I won't holler. Okay, but if you scream, I'm going to holler. However, she finally had enough. So I'll give you that. And she said, this is it. Okay. I still think that when you say about women being nurturers, yes, women are nurturers, but I think that women have a imagination, because there's a difference in a picture of when a guy and a girl says they want to get married. The guy said, we're going to get married. It's you and I for the end of my days. Oh gosh, let me think. When we say for girls, I want to get married, guess what we see? We see the wedding. Not the fact of him and I, we'll spend together. We see the wedding, the white picket fence, a dog, 2 children. We're going to be happy. We like, hey. That's what we see. So women have an imagination, and you always want to fix somebody. I have a relative, and she wants to fix guys. I mean, so bad the dude was in a wheelchair, and she had 15 steps. She carried him over her shoulder up into the house. Problem. Y'all think I'm playing. This is a true story.
We know how you feel about that, though.
Yeah.
So that's love in its truest form.
Listen, yes. But guess what, though? Here's the problem. She saw it, just like the live studio audience said, she saw it, women want to fix people. Here he is in a wheelchair. He in a wheelchair. You carrying this dude over your shoulder in your crib like Bam Bam, okay?
But there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Let me tell you what's wrong with it when he break up with you.
Oh.
Well, boom. Now, listen. He broke up with you. I'm taking you down Early Road to East High and pushing you full speed. Hope you make it.
This is what I'm gonna say about this.
We gonna break up. I'm gonna get your check first,
but because
and then we're gonna break up the right way.
I've said this several times before on the show. Is that just because you give your all in love, and the person you love treats you badly, or you don't fully get fulfilled by whatever's happening, whatever, doesn't mean that you should stop your potential to love somebody.
I guess maybe that's why I'm different.
You don't let people change you into being something that you're not.
You ain't. I'm a responder. You have givers and you have takers. I'm a responder. How you treat me? If you treat me well, I respond well. If you treat me bad, deuces.
Okay, but in the case, I mean, if he breaks up with her.
How somebody in a wheelchair gonna break up with you?
Why does it matter if they're in a wheelchair? That's irrelevant.
They still have a heart and a mind and know what they want, what they don't want.
If anything,
hey, now there you go. They have a heart and a mind to know what it is that they want and don't want. And then y'all be sitting here, all of y'all, I'm gonna say, sitting there telling people and say, I'm gonna pray for you in your relationship. Don't pray for me in my relationship because I want out.
But that could be
because I know what I'm gonna deal with.
The thing is, if you praying, right? for something.
I'm gonna pray for y'all to stay
hold
together.
on.
Don't pray for us.
Well, then you shouldn't pray that.
But other people be like that because somebody else thinks it's good.
But like when I pray for somebody in a situation like that, it's an unbiased prayer. You know, God lead them through this, however.
That's a good prayer.
Out, and then, you know, give them peace and prosperity on the other side of whatever happens. You know what I mean? That you gotta have. You can't because it's not. It shouldn't be my will unless like if you praying for healing, that's it's different. You want something. If you praying for it, certain things that you want. But when it's like affairs of the heart and like you don't really know all the details, God is helping through it.
Now you know what? Me in the wheelchair guy, we would have been friends.
Together.
Look, I'm back to that. Me in the wheelchair, we'd have been friends.
Yeah,
but I see work. I see work. That's what it is. I see work. As a nurse, I see work. I'm like, oh, here we go. I got to get them ready for bed. Now, if y'all together and something happen, you know what I'm saying? If y'all together and something happen, then that's different. But and I didn't share all of it, but I'm gonna tell you, he was paralyzed from the waist down.
But at the time you are giving, you're not gauging the end. You're in the moment.
I'm gauging the moment. He was paralyzed from the waist down.
But back in the
Man,
day, there was this one guy from
He was paralyzed from the waist down.
It don't matter.
One guy from Warren that I was in love with.
He had other skills.
Listen,
but you saying the waist down though. But some people can still control an erection. It would be.
It's all mind over matter.
I'm just saying,
right.
Like you don't know what the damage.
But the point is, say anything about that because back in the day there was this guy that was in a wheelchair that I was in love with. He was just beautiful, just everything about.
I ain't saying people in a wheelchair don't need love. I'm just saying I ain't.
You ain't the one to do it.
I ain't. Listen, and not because I don't love the person or like the person, because we could be really good friends. I don't want to be the caretaker. Okay. I don't want to get off work to go to work. And he's a nice guy. We still cool to this day. He listened to the show. He know I'm talking about him. Yeah. But I just feel like when she said women are nurturers and they want to fix everything, this relative that I know, she would never talk to anybody like this. So it's almost not even just him being in a wheelchair. I gave you the physical form. But just somebody that you wouldn't normally date. You go outside of your comfort zone. Some dude that's toe up from the floor up. You be like, but you know what? I'm going to stop being shallow. And I'm going to date him.
And that's the one I choose.
And
I choose you.
I'm going to choose you. I'm going to go the other way. Because you got to be fine and looking like something so I can look at you. So you date somebody that's toe up and ugly, but they got a nice personality. So I'm going to do things a different way. And then you like, listen, you ain't even up to my standards and you going to try to dog me out? Something wrong with this picture. And listen, it's not just me because my grandmother said, well, she should at least waited till the second till he got his check.
Hey. Thinking about that future, yo.
Right, you got to have a plan. And you go, well, he got to go right now. No, you should have waited. I'm with my grandma. You should wait till the second.
The other thing is
you don't go nowhere without you.
You don't want nobody like if you when you
had no ramp.
But when you truly done, all that stuff don't even really matter. Like
I would say that. Yeah.
I remember because I was just talking about this yesterday or the day before.
Somebody give me some water. It's hot.
And I was like,
thanks.
And I was like. I explained this situation. It might have been me and my son talking. I don't know. I don't even remember who I was talking to, but I know I was talking about this particular subject. And I was just like, hey, when I said this was the last straw, like prior, like, and it was like in advance, I said, oh, if this go down again, I'm done. Like, completely done.
Okay.
And so, like.
So you had enough.
Yeah, and so it was like the last, like, they knew that they had the last straw in their hand. You know what I'm saying?
They just throw it up. They toss it.
You got the last straw in your hand. You know, a couple times, like a month or so went past, they said, I threw that straw in the air. And I'm like, I'm still accounting for the straws. So boom, that's the last straw. And I remember, like, I was just like, hey, guess what? I told my sister, I said, come with your car or have my car. We going to get everything in one trip and I'm out, right? And even before I called some members of that family. I was like, "Hey, this is what's going on. I ain't really going into details about it or whatever, but I'm done. I'm out. And all I want to do is get my belongings, and I'm on my way."
And then they be acting like they ain't did nothing.
Then but the thing was, the person didn't want me to give me myself. I was like, look, y'all can be there. Y'all can even pack it. Just give me the thing. Just give me my thing.
Give me my box.
And I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? And when I thought about it, even when I thought about it too, though, granted, I needed those things because they were it was clothes I needed to wear. But the point,
you gotta have an escape plan, Roogle.
But the point of was I ain't want nothing else. I wasn't like I was like I need half on this. I need whatever. I was like no, whatever these two cars can feel,
I'm done.
I'm done.
And that is the worst when somebody's done like that and say you can have it all. You done did it.
You know, but you gotta stand by that though too. You know, because the follow up with that was like I'm done to the point where I'm like I had to really evaluate the situation. You know. I'm in a situation where, by me feeling like this is the last straw and I'm done, I made myself homeless, which I was. I was homeless.
But you were done.
By definition, homeless. I was like, I don't like I had to go. Like I'm putting a lot out there, but the point is like when you in a truly bad situation and you need to get out, get out.
Okay.
You know, you may not be in a situation where you get out and I had my first month, I had my deposits, I put money down, I moved into all this other stuff. Sometimes it's just your peace of mind.
Peace of mind is it.
And then that same person a week or so later came knocking where I was staying at and was like, it's time for the conversation. I was like, ain't no conversation.
It's over.
I'm done.
The conversation was me getting my box.
Yeah, I got my stuff and I left.
Last straw.
He tossed it. Look how he threw it.
Said it was just like because they threw it high because they had to get up on the top on the rest of the straws. Just threw it up high. You know what I mean? Just threw their shoulder out, getting it up there on that pile of straw.
I had to do that. I had to do that other part in that example that I used to segue into the next Shop Talk question of the week. Now, a female, she was dating this guy. He dated a girl. And his ex slept with his friend, so he left her. And he told the new girl, follow me, he told the new girl about the situation of what occurred. So the new girl, I would never do that. Again, what the live studio audience said, want to be nurturers. With this new girl for a year, and then went back to the ex. Give me your answer.
on.
What do you think happened? Go ahead.
So she wasn't the ex when she slept with the friend. She became the ex after
She slept with the friend. So a guy is with a girl.
Right.
They've been together for 4 years.
Right.
She sleeps with his friend. They break up.
Right.
He gets into a new relationship. She cooks, she cleans, she does everything that he complained that his ex didn't do.
Right.
And then he ended up leaving her after a year and going back to the ex.
Oh.
Because he never left the ex.
There you go.
He just left her in proximity, but not in his heart.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, is that it for it? Look, is that it? Because some people tend to think because they don't do what that ex did to hurt you, and they're like, okay, well, I'm a good girl. Why did he go back? What's wrong with me? So now, go ahead. I'll let you go.
Sometimes it's those tangibles that the new woman may not know about.
Elaborate.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like he said, because everything you mentioned that she wasn't doing was domestic sort of, I clean, I cook, I do all that kind of stuff.
And I'll never cheat on you.
Yeah, I'll never cheat on you. But it maybe deep in his heart that he valued, and not to say that other woman, no one wanted her. Not to say that because I don't know.
His friend did clearly.
But no, not the ex, but the woman he's with.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because like maybe it's just something about that past relationship that he just can't get out of.
And now she's constantly chasing him and wanting him back and want to know what's wrong with her.
Nothing.
He
forgave his ex.
Yeah.
That's the long and the short of it. He forgave her because he'd rather have bad times with her than good times with someone else.
Well, all right.
All right. He speaks from the grave, y'all.
Go ahead, Luther. Go ahead, Nick. What do you think?
Yeah, that right there.
Has that happened?
He probably only left his ex to get her to open her eyes and be like, listen here.
That's what you think?
He was
yeah.
hurt.
He was.
It took a year for him to forgive her.
Because he went back. he went back to her. The thing is, whatever, I'm quite sure, hopefully, that whatever she wasn't doing, that the other woman was doing when he left her, she doing now. Just like
for the time being.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Because people gonna be people.
Well,
They gonna be who they are.
let's put it. Let's say it like this.
Go ahead.
What if the ex was the love of a lifetime
What if
for
they
him?
were married?
If they were
What
married,
if they were married
and he got a divorce,
They get
and
through it.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh, if they were just married and it just okay. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. I just kind of.
Can you get through with your wife sleeping with another guy from a male's
No,
perspective?
and your best friend.
Yeah, your best friend too.
My aunt and uncle did it. They were married 25 years, and on their 25th anniversary, he presented her with divorce papers. They were divorced for about 10 years. She had her male friends, and he was going through his thing because he ended up on drugs, messing with,
he's just having time
out
of
of
his
the
life.
house and everything.
Right.
She got out of
Everything
the
he
house
wanted to
and
do, he
everything.
got out of the system.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, this was an ex-preacher.
Okay.
An ex-minister.
Okay.
But they are back together. They got
They lived
married
their
right
life
out of
and
high
they-
school.
He forgave
That was
her.
the love. She
forgave him.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the question.
Yeah.
He forgave her, and he had to process the fact, like you said, and Roogle has to answer still. It was two things he had to process. She stepped out on me, but she stepped out on me with my friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to process all of that. I'm interested to know where the friend is in this.
That
He took that woman back.
That level of betrayal,
Yeah.
It can only lead me to think that like maybe he didn't really. I mean, I don't want to apply guilt to him, but like I wonder was he completely faithful?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From a male's perspective, that's why you here.
Yeah, I just feel like kind of being in a situation like not really like this, but when you got to make that definitive like question like. Even if you care for this person on this particular level, are you willing to like go back?
Okay.
And like okay, like and I don't well okay. So if you're in a situation where you're like, yeah, I have love for this person, but it's only so much that I'm willing to even endure. Like you just gotta say like for me, I'm like just cut it off. Just cut it off, because I remember, man, when
We gotta do real quick.
okay, go ahead, I'm done.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
If it was like that, I'd still be married to jackass number one.
Okay.
In the situation, he was messing around the whole time. Came from where he was stationed back here so that we can get married. Day after we got married, I'm ironing pants for him. We get ready to come over this way, the party.
Yeah.
He left a ticket in the pocket, bus ticket. Bus ticket was to the airport in St. Louis, but where it was from was where the other woman was. I found this the day after we got married, okay? We went through the state, but listen, I got tired. You doing this, so watch me do you. I did a friend, family member actually, by marriage.
Oh, I love the realness. Go ahead.
The family member
How did that
by
work
marriage.
out?
It worked out lovely.
Did he ever
was
find out?
Oh, yes, he did. And he went and told old boy's girlfriend. Now, my not wife, girlfriend. So I've been through all them situations. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
He tried to talk to me, let me see, after me and second husband had separated for a while. He's like, what's wrong with him? And why he did? Because you a good woman. I said, oh, really? Now, and the hindsight,
Now you a good woman.
And now I'm a good woman. I said I wasn't a good woman when we was married. That was different. I was young and stupid. I said, really? I said, okay, so maybe he young and stupid too then.
Okay. Now here's my thing. When you look at the bigger picture here, when he first came, when she gave me this shop talk question, when she inboxed me this, I already had an answer. Because, Jason Boyd, shout out to him. He says, what did he say? Energy flows where your attention goes. Now, if I'm the new person and you're talking about your ex, you're not done with her. I'm good. You can't come anytime, and you remember we did a show. A guy comes to me and he want to know about my ex. What do I say? Y'all know this line. Here, let me give you his number and you can call him. Mm-hmm. Because your attention needs to be on me. Just like TD Jake said, when you go and you're in a new relationship, The reason that new relationship can't evolve or move forward is because you taking all of them to bed with you. Mm-hmm. Your previous, like, what's going on? Oh, you remind me of so and so, or you're having that conversation. Now, if you're in a relationship and and you guys are open and you're just communicating, that's different. But when you come and you tell me everything that this person has done wrong, energy flows where your attention goes. It is what it is. Your attention is over here. Are you completely finished? Because it's always about this individual, even with the first shop talk question of the week. It's about this individual. For her to bring up the wife had nothing to do with it. Zero. The wife had nothing to do with it, because usually, like I said, my mother ended up telling me, she said, you got to understand, men are shelving these women. The wife don't know the person that's in it, even a new person that's dating. She don't know all the people he shelved, and guess what? She don't care, because he's spending his time with you. And why should the wife or the new girlfriend be concerned with who he shelved? Because she don't know, because he's protecting her. So that's where his heart is at. She don't know about all these people on the shelf. The people on the shelf, they know, and they know to keep it quiet.
And they know
it was so bad, even with my ex. I had no idea. When I talked to that girl, she was like, oh yeah, we was at the concert. I was behind you. You seem to be a real nice person. I was annoyed. I was annoyed only because you put me in harm's way, and I didn't know. This girl told me that she was standing behind me at the DJ Quick concert. Hey, I had no idea that she was kicking it with my husband. But she told me after. She was like, and I'm listening to you. I was like, oh, she cool. She nice. They said she was a real B. This chick could have clocked me over the head. Anything. I worked at the OB clinic. She done came up to the job. So she got an advantage over who's, you know what I mean? Who is he with? And what happens with women, and y'all can deny it all y'all want, women will look at that woman and say, what is it about this woman that he likes that he doesn't like in me? Women will compare themselves. Mm-hmm. Women will look and be like, oh, okay, well, she's that type of person. Oh, okay, so he's attracted to this type of person. You have women who will sit there, because I'm going to tell you, I'll be like, oh, okay, he used to date so-and-so. To me, that's my research. And if he dating somebody ratchet, guess what? I already know we ain't going to work, because if I could never be that. I'd be like, boom, don't try nothing new. When I see people with ratchet people, date somebody who has something to lose. If I see somebody and they used to date ratchet, I will never put another female down. They are who they are, but I know what I cannot be.
But you know what? You got.
Well, I know what I won't be.
I think there's phases. I mean, there's phases of who people date. I truly believe that. Like, I think sometimes
what you need at that time.
I think sometimes you may date somebody who you're like, yeah, we are not equally yoked.
All right.
You know, and it may not even be about marriage. It may just be about like super fun times. You know what I mean? Like it might be somebody like, hey, I would never really, do this, but for some reason I'm having so much fun.
But you keep them in friend zone. You say no.
It's not friend zone if because you
friends with benefits.
Nick said friend with benefits. I ain't sleeping with everybody. I'm like, we cool, because you can't take that back.
Well, and that may be the difference, but if you caught up in like this passion of what this particular thing is, then you caught up at that particular time.
We sleep together, we go together.
The thing is, what are you willing to, like, can you walk away from it?
Nope, you sleep together, we go together.
But dudes can walk away from it, though.
Listen, fellas, if we sleep together, we go together. So I'm telling you that, Roogle, tell all your friends. Don't think you gonna smash and dash. Y'all go together.
We go together.
Ain't no smash and dash. We just went together. We go together.
Like peas and
one
carrots.
of my boyfriends, I had him tell me that. We met and everything clicked. As soon as we got done, he said, we go together now. I'm looking at him like, what?
We go together.
He was like, oh yeah, we go together now.
When you sleep with somebody, y'all in a full-fledged relationship.
Said, if only for one night. Luther said it, so it gotta be true.
Okay, it's true then.
I'm just saying.
When we go together for that night.
For that night.
And when I see you buy my drinks every time I see you.
For that weekend, you are my total focus.
Yep, I ain't going on Facebook though and say, hey, we was together. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't that chick.
Them is the best relationships. You'd be like, hey,
on Facebook?
No, not Facebook. I'm talking about like
only for one night.
Because it's like it's like the best. It's the best of that person just for that night or so. Like, you can have the dinner, you can have all that kind of stuff. You got to go on out. If it's for that
Homie wasn't
weekend.
playing that with me.
But,
We go together.
but those are the people who come to your funeral and say, he was a really nice man. And you
Those
gotta
ones that
have a lot of them at your funeral to balance out what people are sticking in their head. You know
Go up there, speak on the mic.
So you gotta have a lot of like, well, yeah, I knew him. He was such a good man. You know, they'd be like,
only for one night.
if only for one night, he was such a good, like the potential in this man was so. That's what you ever hear this? You go to a funeral. They talk about the potential. They're like the potential that's lost in this person. The thing, yeah, because people might know that person for only for one night. I'm just saying.
All right.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, you know what I say. Endless love. Since you want to bring up endless love, we go together forever.
Okay, Diane and Lionel.
We go together. This is it. And every time I see you, you better be saying hi. I don't care who you with. You better be buying me a drink because we go together. We went together. You sleep together, we go together. Ain't no smash and dash. There you go. So if y'all don't know, now you know. They be like, oh, y'all still cool? You cool with your exes? How you cool with all? I'm cool with all my exes. You ain't gotta, and you don't have to sleep with everybody.
You don't.
That's why you be friends with them. And you talking about it only for one night.
You don't have to sleep with everybody.
No.
But I
think you can't get that back.
But I think you're right. You can't get it back. You can't get it
And
back.
some cats just want to just hit.
But I think like.
What about the females?
So go ahead, Nick. Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Because, you know, like you said, I have a lot of male friends. I always had a lot of male friends. And a lot of the females used to be like, oh, she a hoe. She this, she that. She messing with them. No, I'm not. I'm just friends with them. I click with guys. But there's some of them that I used to be like, I'm trying not to. Boop. Oh, well, sorry. It was good.
All right, listen, we might as well go on air with it.
It's the best.
Listen,
It's the
yeah,
best.
it's the best. Listen, what show was that I thought I was the girlfriend, and I thought he was so faithful until the voice of the community was sitting right over there, Nick, and she gave her confession.
Was that about 6 months ago, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know Nick then. But I thought I was the girl. Listen, I'm up at the college. How you doing? Poo poo. And she telling me she shared her story about this dude she was kicking it with, how she got with his friend. Listen, when we logged off air, she said the friend. I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was with him.
Yeah. And
I had no idea. Now that's crazy, ain't it?
And we're all still friends.
And we all still friends. Listen, I ain't never even mentioned it to her while I thought I was the girlfriend. I'm the faithful. I'm the concealed person on the side going up to college. Here you go.
Him was a hoe because when he was he was at Farrell being bad and he was at school being even worse.
See, and that's Saturday. Then I'm up at the school and everybody like, hey, how you doing? And I don't even know nothing. While we wearing matching outfits and
acting
stuff.
like they ain't know nothing, but then they would see us, me.
But that's what's crazy. Yeah. You never know. So, again, she shouldn't have called out that wife. We weren't married back then, but she shouldn't have called out that wife because that wife don't have nothing to do with it. She sound like when she called out that wife, it pretty much said, I'm mad that he chose you.
Exactly. That's why I said a lot of that was just nonsensical. You know what I mean? It was just like, I'm just going to keep this running. You know, so that a lot of that could have been cut to the chase. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is the situation. You know what I mean? But when I read the part of his
reply, he shouldn't have never replied.
But he never admitted
that he slept with her. That was admitted to me though. It was admitted to me because I asked a question. I said, I need to know, and I'm glad he didn't admit that part in there because we know that person would have screenshotted and put it up there. She ain't got nothing to lose. She said. That's a lot of the audience said, oh, she pretty much said she ain't nothing to lose. Then I read it. I was like, oh, yeah, she said she ain't got nothing to be ashamed of. Hey, go ahead.
I feel that in his response and in the fact that he responded, he and the wife have already dealt with that. They're going to get past it and she's going to look like the bitter woman. Because why would he respond if he was going to go deeper in the hole?
She was the bitter woman when she posted.
That's what I'm going, Nick. That's what I'm like.
But because I don't think anyone expected him to respond to that. But in order for him to respond so publicly as she did, that means it's already been handled at home.
And notice that he included his wife's
That's
name.
what I'm saying.
He included.
It's already handled at home.
So
it's going to keep on going at home the way it's been going at home.
And all is well.
All of this has been on blast.
Like she said, she ain't had nothing to lose, but actually she did.
Him.
Well,
Go ahead. You got something to say? Because last week we all just sitting there like, what?
Well, because once you deal with the situation, the situation is out there. You have to determine, okay, you know what? This has been overshadowing this relationship, this marriage, whatever it is, and this situation.
24 hours.
Right.
Nipped in the bud.
But now we can move forward. And you have to determine, am I going to keep my husband? Am I going to stay with my wife? Or what are we going to do? Because that other relationship may be already gone. That's over.
Mm-hmm.
So now where are we going to go from here? Are we going to continue to be in a relationship? Are we going to get stronger through this and do what we said we were going to do when we made those vows?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we going to sever this? And so that's the determining. I know the vows.
I'm like, is that VOWELS or VOWS? What we doing?
She's like, you got that love potion in the bed.
It's vows. It's vows.
All right, we'll go with the next one. We're running over time, but let me get Roogle. What's happening in the movie world?
All right. The biggest thing that's coming out soon is The Lion King, and for some reason, I was like, I'm not going to see it. Like, I made up my mind. I was like, I didn't go see Aladdin. I didn't go see, like, what? Why should I go see The Lion King when the first one has already been done? And then I started to really think about how I felt about Disney, like, back in the day when The Lion King came out. And I remember having some issues saying, man, okay, the first time they're going to really have a lot of black people in a cast is when they're going to portray animals in Africa. And I was like, this is kind of messed up. They know they need, well, they just have some black faces. Like, and I said this once before. Now, following that, they did have the one Cinderella, was it, who plays it? Brandy played Cinderella on the television show, or whatever ABC
Cindy.
had
It
on.
was called Cindy.
Okay. And then they had, then years later, they had The Princess and the Frog. But in between that, not really much. And
Okay.
then I agree. Oh, they did have they had the Pride family.
The Pride?
Penny Proud. Oh, no, that was
Proud.
Proud family. Okay.
Okay, I'm like, the Pride family.
I
What
got
they
you.
doing
Pride,
now?
Pride.
With Dejanay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Kyla Pratt.
Yeah. But this is what I took away, because I was misled in a few things. And I want to ask y'all a little bit about trivia about The Lion King. The first one from 1994, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. Okay, the 1994 production of it. Do you know who played the voice of adult Simba?
Yes.
James Earl Jones.
No, Simba.
Oh,
Not Mustafa.
Simba. No, I don't.
Matthew Broderick.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah, okay. Do you know who played him as a young child? Because this is what I forgot. This is what I truly didn't remember who did this, and this is a trick question.
Oh my gosh, I knew it. Let me think. I can't remember.
So this is the answer to who played young Simba, the voice, the actor who played him. Now I'm trying to stall. I can't have dead air, so you got to tell me something. Okay, in 1, 2, 3.
It's right on to my
Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and y'all probably like, who is he?
The kid from Home Improvement.
Home Improvement, right? But did you think that he sung those? This is where I messed up.
No, he didn't sing any of that, or did he?
He did not, because this is what my thought process was. Jason Weaver did this singing.
Jason, I was gonna say Jason as Simba.
Now you probably like, who is Jason Weaver? He played Michael Jackson in the Jackson American Story or whatever it was.
Jason Weaver. I've watched everything he's ever been in since he was a child.
Okay, but the thing I'm saying is that if he was his part went uncredited.
Right, exactly.
So if he was good, I thought that he was, for all this time, I thought he was Simba up until Simba was an adult.
Right, because I was getting ready to say Jason Weaver.
Yeah. And so the thing was, if he was talented enough as an actor to play Michael Jackson, and he did, his rendition of Michael Jackson will probably be the best that ever has been done. You know what I mean? But the point I'm saying is that he was good enough to sing the parts, but he wasn't good enough to be the actor.
Be the actor, or even do the. I mean, they had to give him the credits for who sang the song.
Yeah, but the thing was that like, why couldn't he? If it's an anime, okay, because what we got food on this, okay, because they gave James Earl Jones his part, they gave Mae Sinclair her part, she played Sarabi, and but when you think about like, okay, Whoopi Goldberg was in there, she was one of the voices of the hyenas. Then Nikita Camille Harris, she was the voice of young Nala, but when you really think about this, when you look at this time, this cast was probably the most diverse. At that time. And so when I think about like this cast now, I'm thinking like, well, Matthew Broderick didn't have to play that part. Like, because I didn't even realize it was him until I looked it up. You know what I mean? I was like, because I didn't know who I thought it was, but even someone sung his parts. You know what I mean? Like, he sing his parts, somebody sung his parts. Oh, and Robert, Guillemew, I'm messing up his name. Guillaume, Benson. Benson. He was Rafiki in the movie as well. And then the thing is, I ain't taking no shade.
I didn't know he was Rafiki.
Yeah. And the thing is, I ain't taking no shade away from Jeremy Irons. He played Scar. He did his voice is probably the definitive Scar. But we'll see, because who's doing his voice now? Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh,
is the new Scar in the movie.
But James Earl Jones is still standing.
And James Earl Jones is still standing. So when I look at this, and when I look at the 2009 version of it, they brought, and then they have John Kanai, who is, or I hope this is pronounced Kanai. He's the voice of Rafiki now, but he was the father. He was the father of Black Panther. Mm-hmm. He's playing that part. Alfred Woodard is playing Sarabi now. And then there's young Simba's voice is J.D. McQuarrie. Now, if you don't know who he is, if you've seen the movie Little, he was the black young man in the movie Little. He just had like people know how I feel about Little, but so I won't go no further into that. And then you have a lot of parts that for some reason at the time white people voiced those parts. Now they're being voiced by black people. Right. Like Donald Glover is Simba the whole time. Beyonce is the voice of Nala as an adult. There's a young Nala that they have.
So are you gonna go to see the movie now?
No. I mean, I'm not.
Love your honesty.
But the point was, like, if I go and see it, no. I don't have any plans to go see this movie. I don't. You know what I mean? And I ain't throwing no shade. But what I'm saying here is that at least this time around, there is being called as it's been seen. And for them to have a cast that is a majority African American is them fixing the wrongdoings of their past, in my opinion. And Disney can take it how they want to, but the thing is, it is a correction. It is a correction, because at that time, there were people that could have filled those gaps. You know what I mean? You could have had Eddie Murphy be adult Simba. You know what I mean? There were people that were star-studded at that time that you could have had do that work that you had other people do it for. And so it's like them transitioning, but still feeling like they need to have, even if it to this day, there was like they're coming out with a Mulan live action. And the Mulan, I might go see that, because it looks like it looks more serious than what's going on. It looks like they're trying to but at one point they caught some shade because they wanted there to be a white male lead some kind of way in the story that happened in, I don't know, Japan, China, wherever it was. But the point was that, like, even to this day, they're still fighting against whitewashing. You know what I mean? Okay. And it seems like finally they kind of got the picture, pun intended, that inclusion is necessary, and if you are going to remake something, remake it and make it what you really truly wanted it to be then, now. And I think they made that step, because the thing is, if it was just a true remake, Matthew Broderick still acting. John Taylor Thomas, he may not be who you want to have a young Simba to be because he's an adult man now. But the point is that there are actors from that piece that could have came back and did those other pieces. Like, I'm sad that Whoopi Goldberg ain't doing it.
I
You know
am
what I
too.
mean? But who I don't know what whatever her engagements were, whatever.
Yeah, she played that part.
Yeah, and the thing is, Whoopi Goldberg could have easily been Sarabi. You know what I mean? Like there was characters she could have been. But the point is that like they're making a change, and it I don't know if it makes up for the past, but it reveals the past if you look at it from. And I thought, and we talked about this earlier, that black lens, and that's what I'm looking at it through. Is like, well, this movie was clearly to have representation, but yet it failed to do that in its lead roles.
Okay, so we have concluded, and you have said that you're not going to see it.
Well, yeah, and then the thing is, I'm not going to see it because part of my thing is not so much the issue of what I raised, but the issue of like, does it bring me any value to see it done over again?
Yes or no?
Right now, I'm leaning towards no.
What about you, Kim?
Oh, I wouldn't gone to see it anyway.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I like the first version of it, but I guess one of the questions that's coming to mind is, where was the expectation that the cast should not have been white in the first place?
I think the expectation for me was the fact that at the time when they were talking about the movie, it was like, oh, this is Disney's way to have an inclusion and all this other stuff. And it was like it was really, okay, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the last time we seen a lot of black people in a Disney original voice acting part was when they had them play the crows in was it Dumbo? And the crows and Dumbo was like, is it flying elephant?
Right.
You know what I mean? So this was like them repairing the damage of that portrayal. And then even in that sense, like they had Cheech Marin was in it, a whole bunch. And it's Cheech Marin's birthday today, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday.
It's also Daphne Reed. Y'all know who Daphne Reed is?
Daphne Maxwell Reed.
Who is she?
She was the mom on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and she's Tim Reed's wife.
Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
who Tim Reed is.
WKRP in Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
And sister.
That's him?
He was the dad and
Sister,
sister.
sister.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep, they're married.
It's her birthday. It's also Harrison Ford's birthday and Captain Jean-Luc
Indiana
Picard,
Jones.
who is
Happy birthday.
what's his real name? Jean-Luc Picard. Jeez, I can't believe I'm messing up his name. Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Sir Patrick Stewart. But, there it is for me. I don't even know what point I left off on. I got caught up with the birthdays.
Okay.
But
And is that it? Does that conclude?
I think that's all the news is fit to print.
That's fit the print. All right. Shop Talk News. Since we got a vindicator, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
And we get both sides of the story.
Yeah.
Both sides. So, here's the next one. At what age should you be when it doesn't matter what people think about who you date? All lines crossed. What do I mean by that? Friend of a friend. Here's the deal. A girl, a female, is interested in her ex-friend who passed away, her husband. At what age do we say, love who you love?
With whatever age she is now and before that.
Okay. Because we always worried about what society thinks and
Validation.
But why is it validation when you
Because
care about what somebody else thinks?
Because our worth as a human being is important. We have this need to be accepted, this need to belong, this need to fit in. We don't want to be ostracized or criticized. So yes, it's a validation issue. But you have to look at, if you believe in that relationship and the person with whom you share it, stand up for it.
Okay. Regardless. All right, she threw her hands up. Y'all can't see her. Go ahead.
I just think it like can you and the person you're going to be with endure the criticism.
The criticism. Okay. What's your thoughts? Go
I
ahead.
might be one of those ones that criticized.
I love it.
I don't. If it's who I think you're talking about, I don't. It ain't none of my business because I ain't sleeping with her. I ain't sleeping with him. But just the fact of the relationship, how everything, I don't condone it. But like you said, it really it ain't none of my business. I just kind of feel funny about it because I couldn't do it if I was in that situation and I was around all of these people,
Same people.
all of these people, and they started that certain person started something, and then now all of a sudden you're in with that crowd, and I've been feeling funny ever since I found out about it.
Okay,
but that ain't me, and as long as y'all don't have
society
a problem,
don't have a problem with it, then it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay, but what do you think? So if it was somebody that you are with. And I went into details as far as that situation. But even at this age, be like, okay, well, I really like this person. And everybody will probably be shocked that I'm with this person. And, and I really don't care what people think. What age is it? When do you say, I'm worried about my happiness versus how somebody else feels? Because it's really interesting how the other person, or another single person to tell you it ain't right. Mm-hmm. Another single person to tell you who you should be dating.
And the thing you're talking about here is clearly relationships with people who have some sort of tie to you versus like same-sex relationships. We're not
talking same sex.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Unless that situation is a same-sex relationship, right?
Right. It's a different sex.
Does the new woman have any had any loyalty to
the other person you would think of?
Person?
See, yes. Well, I would say yes, but the focus of it, honestly, is when do you say my happiness supersedes y'all, and I don't even know you?
Another question, though.
Go ahead. She said I would be the one to judge. I love her, man.
Listen, if you know you ain't,
come on, you gotta go with it.
This situation, you were friends with someone else that you knew was liking that person and was talking to that person, and you was always egging it on. Yeah, go ahead. Then all of a sudden, you with them. What kind of friend were you to that person in the first place?
Now that would be different in that situation. As far as this situation, that didn't occur. That didn't occur. But I'm just saying, period. If you don't, I know some. Anyway, y'all know that sound?
Yeah.
What's that sound?
Smells
medical moments. Hey, we're gonna do some be inspired along with the Mel's medical moments in this case, because trust and believe it will have you sick. We are going to talk about a disorder called social anxiety disorder, social phobia. And what that is when you really care about what other people think. Yes, it is a disorder. And they coming up with them, though. They coming up with them. Now, here's the problem. Are you that person that cares about being judged by others?
I used to be, not anymore.
Okay. Kim, I know you see people all the time from that because they need to feel
validated.
Well, here, I'm going to give you some cues on how you cannot become that person. Nick says she used to be that person and she is no longer that person, which is really good. So kudos to you. Focus on what matters. Keep perspective. Desensitize the triggers. When you feel like, okay, this is what I want and I care about what they think, and if I do this, they're going to respond this way. Stop predicting what somebody else thinks. I always say that a negative mindset, and you'll hear me say constantly, reboot your hard drive, and that means reprogram yourself. Think positive. The glass is half full. I'm sure you guys heard that before. Desensitize those triggers and stop anticipating what somebody else is going to say. That's a negative mindset. They're going to say no, so I'm not going to ask. I already know the answer. Always ask. Stop answering for other people, because remember, you can't control everybody. You can't control how they think. Ask. The worst they could say is no. And if they say no, have a plan B. Always be prepared. These negative comment people, I'll say, even with the last Shop Talk question of the week, when you have those negative comment people and they always have something to say about who you're with or why you shouldn't date somebody. I know somebody that dated somebody and they said he was terrible. And this came to me. This is direct. Hey, Mel, tell your friend to not let her daughter date this guy because he ain't worth it and blah, 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 blah. If you know me, I'm not going to say anything. If you want them to know, you'll tell them themselves. If you come and you tell me something, and every single person that knows me, I'll disclose if I'm going to like shop talk, but I'll protect the innocent, okay, about it. But anybody that knows me, if you tell me something, guess what? You told me. I'm not going back telling that person because if you wanted them to know, you would have told them anyway. Yourself. Now, let me be clear. If you lie on me, then I'm going to come clean. And you say that I bind the devil, we ain't doing that because we're all grown. Well, this particular person, they told me to tell this person, blah, 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 blah. What if I was that person and told him that? And guess what ended up happening? And he did this with my friend. Listen, forget that. She married him. Oh. Stop. Yes. Now, you told me how terrible of a person this was because he's with this person. So and this is how she is.
As a tool.
Listen, no. Because he was married to her friend. And he's this and he that. Tell her she shouldn't date him to watch out and blah, 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 blah. Next thing I know, they got married. Problem. If you wanted them to know, you should have told them. And I said, now, what if I was that person that said that, and then you married him? They could looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, like, oh, you only did that because you wanted
right.
You two to be
so
together.
Listen, I'm going to say just as an adult, listen, if the person want them to know, they would have told them. And I just feel that way. We're way too grown. We're way too grown. You tell me something, guess what? I ain't even telling you nothing. I don't know nothing. I knows nothing. So I want, they're like, wow, listen, there's no do-overs in your life. You get one life. As long as you have life, you can change. So get that. I don't want you to think I'm contradicting myself. But when you have somebody that gives you the input, tell them, girl, he ain't no good. He ain't this. He ain't that. That was my reason for giving you that example. He ain't this. He ain't that. He ain't this. But you single. Why are you interviewing my man? Why are you interviewing my potential? Because guess what? He's not dating you. And the way that he treated her does not mean he's going to treat me the same way. Now, warning. Yes, you can give me a warning, but you can't give me a warning when you single. And I'm going to be honest, I'll hear what you say.
Give me a warning when you single.
You're right. Why you still single? It's been 10 years. How come your stuff ain't working out? How about you pay attention to the relationships that you're in? Okay?
Or a single person trying to give a married person advice all the time.
Now that can happen. Wait, but that can happen. And I'm going to tell you why, especially if that single person was married. Or if that single person, like Roogle said at the beginning of the show, they chose, if the reason they're not married is because they don't want to be married. Now, if you have something I've always been the person, if you tell me somebody cheating on me, see, I ain't even know. I thought I was just, going on up to Westminster having a good time.
I didn't know when I mentioned
But you didn't know me.
Right.
But you didn't know me. We didn't know each other. I ain't mad at you. I'll never be mad at you. I will never be mad if a female is cheating with somebody that I'm with. I'm not mad at her because I'm going to build a woman up all day long. Even if it is my friend. I am not going to be upset with her because guess what? We have a different relationship to me and this guy. And if this is something that he wants, guess what? Clearly it's something I'm not giving you. I am not that individual. So when you make that decision to cheat on me, I hope it was a good decision because I'm out. There is that's the first straw is the last straw, Roogle.
The first straw is the last straw.
Yes, I ain't got time to be tripping over nothing. I don't want to fall down.
You got to reach up high.
Yeah.
For me, it's all these different straws.
See, that's not you give people change. You're so patient.
Here's a straw.
You're so patient. And listen, I have been saying
categorically the same straw.
Right.
But it's
because you're a patient person. And anybody know me, I told y'all a long time ago, I'm not a patient person. I'm praying for that. Praying for patience, but I ain't praying for dummy. And if you want to step out and this is what you wanted to do, clearly that was a great decision at that time. And guess what? I'm out. I just don't, and I know hard feelings. That's just who you like. And I'm not willing to do that. You want to do this. And then, so you have people to say, okay, well, this is what I wanted. And then they take the blame. Mm-hmm. You knew this when you came into it. This is something I do not do. And I'm not interested in doing. So if you feel as though that this is a necessity for you, then go ahead. People, stop being with people because it's like, oh, okay, I'm tired of being lonely, so I'll go ahead and deal with that. No, I'm not working. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is something that I choose to do with my life. I choose to live my life. I choose to live my life this way. I don't need somebody telling me, okay, well, you should do ABC. No, because guess what? If you were in that situation, maybe you can handle it. But I choose to live my life the way that I choose to live my life. Yeah. So that's where there's no do-overs. You get one life. They chose to live their life their way. You can't tell me how I should be living mine. Anyway, there's gonna be some people that dislike you all the time. Yeah. So know that. I mean, for real, they dislike Christ and He's the Savior of the world. I still can't figure that one out.
Well, I think
So I already know. It is what it is. Go ahead.
When you talk about getting advice, though, or you talk about somebody being involved, I think a person needs to understand
Where you coming from?
Well, where you coming from? But to be a good mentor is not to make a decision for someone,
Good.
or even like.
How about? But see, mentor. You use the word. I
Yeah.
came to you to discuss, Kim. You know what I mean? You didn't come to me volunteering. I didn't care. This is it. This is what it's going to be. People need to start making decisions for themselves. And like you said, mentor. People will come to you if they feel as though, and see, this is very different from today's Be Inspired / Male's Medical Moments when you deal with social anxiety disorder or the social phobia where you're worried about what other people think. If you know me, I don't care. Bye, see, I'm going to be happy and it works for me. Call me selfish if you want. Yes, I'm selfish with my life. The end. What's important to me? The end. This is what's important to me, and you have a problem with it because you're not that person. You know, this is your life. This is what you choose to do. Boom. This is what I choose to do with mine. Am I a mean person? No, I'm not. But I have a problem with you telling me what to do with my life, with you telling me what to do with my time. Have you ever noticed that when people sit there, they ask you to do, you can do. And then as soon as you say no, you like scum of the earth.
Yeah,
And
you're
you're like,
devil.
what about this? You have those people that say, hey, you work tomorrow, and they plan your life.
Yeah.
No, I'm selfish with my time.
I remember saying that, I hit about unemployment. I said, man, like when you unemployed, you more busy than you ever been. Because
With everybody else's stuff. And then wait. And then they gonna talk about you. Guess what they gonna say? Well, it ain't like you got somewhere to be. Hold on.
You don't
Maybe
know
this is
that.
my time. Maybe this is my time to sit down. So that's what I wanted to say. So that is it. I'm done with my Male's Medical Moments and my Be Inspired. And my Be Inspired is be selfish with your time and do what it is that you choose to do as long as you are not harming anyone else. And you are not harming anyone else making a decision, a positive decision on your own life and what makes you happy. Next.
Drop the mic.
Exactly.
Mic drops. There we go. Listen, we don't ran over the time. I want you to go around the table. We're going to start with you, Roogle. Any advice for the listeners?
I guess I can't remember who coined it, but to thy own self be true.
I like it. Go ahead, Kim. Nope. Let me, Nick, because Kim, she going to wrap it up for us. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
Always. My last words of advice is know your self-worth. Period.
I like it. Go ahead.
My advice is if somebody didn't ask you for it, don't feel compelled to give it.
Boom.
Well, what if it's an offering plate?
If you
Don't add your 2 cents. Don't come around with a Crown Royal bag. Line plate.
She said the Crown Royal bag.
Right, I'm a line of plate with a Crown Royal
And
bag.
speaking of, a bunch of mine done went missing. I need to
Is
investigate
this
that.
the old school Crown Royal bags? Because the new ones ain't the quality of the old
No,
ones.
mine is the green one. I had one.
Oh, you got. I'm
purple one,
talking
but
about the back in the day bags.
Oh no, because I wasn't
Those,
drinking Crown Royal.
if I
had
can find some of
something
those, I would put them on eBay.
else. Really?
The old school ones, because the new ones ain't like the old school ones.
I got 2 old
Those
school
old ones are
ebonies
sweet.
that I
Yeah,
need
they
to
had,
put
they,
on
was,
eBay.
they had like the gold.
March
rope.
1977
Yeah,
and August 1981. I just found it was my mother's.
You don't want to keep them?
What was it you found?
Ebony magazines when they was this big.
Okay.
They was huge, weren't they?
Huge.
and Life too, Life magazine and Ebony, giant.
Hey,
Giants.
listen, we ought to, since they, well, it doesn't matter that they did, we ought to have our own magazine.
Let's do it.
Hey.
We ought
Why
to
not?
kick it. It'd be a lot of fun. We would straight up kick it. All right, today's footnote. Know who you are. Know what you want. Know what you deserve. And don't settle for less. Tony Gaskins. Y'all all right? Are we in agreement with that?
In agreement, mic drop again.
Might drop again. All right, Kim, wrap it up for us.
Wrap it up. Be true to yourself. You cannot always fit into everybody else's dogma. You are in this life for your experience alone. Whether the decision be good or bad, it's yours. Own it, respect it, appreciate it, and work with it.
What you got?
I ain't got nothing but another mic drop. Boom!
Oh, we're dropping these mics. They cost too much. Be like, huh? What do you mean? They cost the bag.
It's about you. You know.
I got a condo in Manhattan.
What?
Baby girl, what's happening?
What?
You and your invited, so gonna get to clapping.
Hey, that is my time. I thoroughly enjoyed you as I do each and every Saturday. Y'all already know what it is, and I gotta hold on 1 second. Find you, embrace you, most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people! Shop Talk! Right here on Spreaker.com.
Wake up with no jammies. Lobster tail for dinner. Julio served that scampi. You got it if you want it. Got it if you want it. Said you got it if you want it. Take my wallet if you want it now. Jump in the Cadillac. Girl, let's put some miles on it. Anything you want, just to put a smile on it.
See, put a smile on it.
Baby, you deserve it all. I wanna give it to you. Jewelry shining so bright. Strawberry champagne on us. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Lucky for you, that's what I like. That's what I like.
See you next week.